That is a long intro. Hello and welcome to the
really,
Computer Games Show. My name is David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
Sean Bell.
Hello.
No James Farley this week, but we've got a very special guest in the shape of Daniel Robson from IGN Japan.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Yep, that's right.
When you're introduced to things, do we have to say Japan? Have we got to specify it, or do we say IGN? What's the deal?
Well,
What's the formality?
So I'm based out in Tokyo, and we run the Japanese language edition of IGN. So technically, it is actually called IGN Japan, but you can just say from IGN if you
just
like.
Say IGN.
Yeah.
But before we start, we were having a bit of a chat before you joined the call, and I need your help finishing a joke because I'm working on a joke that I was sitting. Literally, why are you being like that, Sean?
Because the joke's finished, Dave. It's just not. I don't know. It's just, I don't know.
It just needs a bit of time. Okay.
Yeah, I think it needs some work.
I just been watching Arctic Monkeys at Reading Festival on the BBC iPlayer. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
The crowd were intense.
Because
that's how they slept.
Yeah.
Because they slept. Because they were there for the whole weekend, and there's no hotels.
They weren't
intense. Sorry, but did you say Reading Festival?
Yes.
I've not been to Reading Festival for nearly probably 20 years, but the campsite is separate from where the bands play, isn't it? So that joke doesn't really work.
So the crowd
changed
for the duration of the performance.
I think maybe Glastonbury might have places.
But Arctic Monkeys weren't there, and I weren't watching it.
Oh, right.
Oh God! What are we gonna do?
The Rising Sun Rock Festival in Hokkaido in Japan. There you can actually camp right in front of the stages and make barbecues and everything. But they only have Japanese bands playing.
Isn't that a bit annoying?
Arctic Monkeys
Is it like can you get out of the way? I want to jump about. No, it doesn't, Sean.
Yeah, it does. A barbecue while you're at a gig. What?
It's pretty cool.
Sounds intense.
Well, because in Hokkaido, they have a dish called it's called Genghis Khan, and it's basically it's grilled lamb. It's so good. Yeah. Good. And people just cooking lamb while they're watching their favorite bands.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I was just watching the Arctic Monkeys on BBC iPlayer at Reading Festival.
Yeah.
Last night the crowd were intense.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm trying. I'm glad to hear it. I'm trying my hardest.
Could you say the crowd were intense until they got up in the morning and
the crowd were in.
Why am I helping you? Why am I doing this?
I don't know. I can help, Sean.
The crowd. Maybe the crowd were intense and not watching the Arctic Monkeys. Is that the joke?
Yeah.
Probably.
That's why they were in their tents.
No, I like the Arctic Monkeys, so let's not stag them off. We like to start the show by introducing our Patreon producers this month. They are Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks chap, Simon Nelson, Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Trans Rights and Human Rights, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gazman, Happy Birthday Sam and Neil, Gabsy, Rocketman76, Rex Reese, Happy New Year Sam, Love from Neil, Grey Dragon Claw, Fred Fenge, Smooth Monkey, Don Whiskerando, friend of the show, Colin Smith, and Richard Sawyer. If you would like to support what we do, then please go to patreon.com/TCGS and check out the different tiers, man. All those tiers we got up there. We got bonus show tiers, haven't we, Matt? That went out today.
It went out today, yes. It was late in the month, but still technically in the month of August.
You can't do us for it. You can't do us for it. You also get Marvel calls a week early. You've heard the Avengers already. You've heard that. I can't remember what comes after the Avengers. Is it another... Oh, it's Iron Man 3.
It literally says there in the doc.
Yeah, no, I can't see it.
Are you really glad you do the prep for everyone, Matt?
Yeah.
And stuff like this.
Iron Man 3 if
you're hear the Avengers and they'll hear Iron Man 3 this Friday. But if you're a new patron or want to be a patron, don't support us now on the day of you're listening to it on Wednesday because, just wait until the first of the month, then do it. We don't need to get charged twice.
Get charged twice? Do it. Why not?
But I would recommend waiting till Thursday, then jumping on board on patreon.com/TCGS.
Anyway, go check us out. Thanks for everyone that supports us. We really appreciate it. Right.
Have you not considered doing a tier that's festival jokes?
Wouldn't be very popular.
Who can put a price on that, though?
I haven't got the chat open. Are Twitch going nuts for it? Should we make... what do you think?
No, someone said, oh, Jesus. Fucking hell, Dave. David, Dad Jokes Turner.
I'll take that.
I'm deleting my Twitch account.
Which reminds me, actually, we do the show live on Monday nights at twitch.com/TCGSco.
Twitch.tv.
Oh, fucking hell. Why did they do that? Why did they do that?
It's like telly, innit?
Because they had Justin.tv. Yeah, they probably decided they got another
com.
TV.
Get com as well. Get com as well.
I'm pretty sure they probably have. I'm pretty sure if you go to Twitch.com, it's not going to divert to like a porn website or something, is it? It's going to. Pretty sure they.
Hold on, let me just check.
It might still be available. We should buy it now.
Yeah, we should do it. Redirect it to us. You can watch that every Monday night from about 8:45 p.m. UK time. So yeah, come join us because everyone's chatting in the chat and slagging off my jokes. Apparently, they're free. We're not charging you for these jokes. They're free. They're not behind the paywall. So stop fucking moaning. Feedback, Matt. They all love it last week, did they?
Luke Summerhays. All right, guys. I've listened to Kane and Rince since I first got into podcasts, probably through hearing Sean mention them. I've heard Leon's voice 100 times, but I never saw his face until this week's show popped up in my feed. He's hot. I had no idea. He's got that gentle, fatherly vibe about him, and I didn't know he was a daddy.
No, I think it's. I didn't know he was Daddy, capital D. Yeah.
Yeah, he was Daddy. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he is a dad. He's not, is he?
No.
But
he
was... go on.
Yeah. Also, the chat about John's abortive PowerWash ending reminded me of my early days of Dark Souls. I played on PS3, got to Analondo only for the game to utterly bug out on me. 10-minute load times only for the floor to disappear under me, etc. I played through the whole game again up to Ornstein and Smo, and same problem. I've since finished the game on PC, Xbox, and Switch. Only after those did it occur to me that I could have bought another PS3 disc. It could have just been scratched or whatever. Appreciate y'all, from Luke Summerhays.
Well, they weren't preloading onto the hard drive on the PS3 days, were they?
No.
Because they were on the 360. You could do that. But wasn't it about halfway through the 360's life?
Yeah, that's right.
You can install them now.
Yeah,
it was nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Daniel, have you tried PowerWash Simulator yet?
I have looked at PowerWash Simulator over people's shoulders at various game events and thought that looks like a game that's not exciting. But,
I mean, you're absolutely right.
But I also like games that are not exciting sometimes, so I'm sort of slightly tempted by it. Yeah,
I'd probably avoid it if I were you. I mean, it's 50 hours of hell.
I think one of you guys mentioned on a previous episode the idea of DLC where you're washing like the Death Star or something, and I thought that'd be sold. Yeah,
and the Trotters Independent Traders. Yeah. Oh, honestly, we need to get them on the show and just bombard them with ideas. Maybe we just list off licenses we want to see in that game, and they could either say yes or no. That'd be it.
There's a great listicle in that, Dave. If you want to write that.
What's it? What the hell's a listicle?
A list, like an article that's just like top 10 things we want to see in PowerWash Simulator.
Is that what
DLC.
they call them, listicles?
I think so. Dan, can you confirm if they're still called listicle, or am I out of? Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if they still are.
But you didn't like the word guesstimate. That sounds like guesstimate to me, Sean.
No, listicles are a totally valid portmanteau of
either a list or an
article. Yeah. Two distinct things fused.
Okay, right. So if I do that,
because you can't do it the other way around.
No.
Daniel Robson's
going to do it the other way around.
You're going to put that on IGN Japan, are you? When I do that,
for sure. Yeah. I think after all your ordeals, can you write it in Japanese, please? I think after your ordeals with that game, I think they owe you an appearance on your show. Yeah.
That's true. You could just ask, couldn't you?
I just that response. Yeah. In a minute, he's going to go. That's a joke for the people that are watching on YouTube. That I was crossing with my fingers. Right, okay. So thanks for that, Luke. Appreciate that. I mean, the amount of people that say,
disc, basically, yeah.
Have you noticed the amount of people that say, "Oh, I've been listening to the podcast for years and I don't know what you look like," and I watch it, and it's not what I imagined. Not here. They're going, "Oh, I've never known what what Leon looks like, and he's hot." We've never had that.
No, no one's ever told us. No, I had one person when I was streaming once. Someone started. First they were just being quite nice, and then they started saying I had nice lips and stuff, and I was like, that's a bit weird.
What? They said that about you?
Yeah.
Nice lips.
Yeah.
Lips.
And you know, sort of like I can't really.
Sean's well happy with that compliment.
Yeah, he's nice.
Well, any poor call in a storm, innit?
Sean the Lips Bell.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
That's one for Twitch. Yeah, has anyone? Because I had my copy of Shadow of the Colossus. When I say my copy of it, I mean one that I downloaded illegally and burned onto a DVD. So this is on me. Yes, when I first finished Shadow of the Colossus, during the ending sequence, it crashed, and I was just like, well, I can't be upset because
you deserve that.
I deserve that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
I did end up buying 2 copies
how
of it.
How far into it did it crash? Though, did you see the baby with the horns?
No, it was before that. It was the bit in the
title screen.
That ending was fucking wild.
That was a bit weird.
Yeah, I know. How long did it take before you got to see it?
I basically just did it again, but it just meant having to do the final boss again, which is not a good final boss to be.
No, that's a terrible final boss. Yeah, that's the one where you're running along the little trenches, aren't you? While it's going.
Shooting.
That bit was terrible. Terrible part of the game.
Dan, not sure what the week ahead is like for you, but you may have a lot of article suggestions tonight, and I'm thinking maybe like Sean Bell in Piracy Shocker that could go off tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Sean Hot Lips Bell in
he's big in Japan as well. People
I'd already pre-ordered the American version.
Save the quote for Dan's
which
piece.
was on it. Save it for the judge, mate. Yeah. No, I ended up buying a US and a UK copy, which I feel absolves me somewhat.
What?
I'm pretty sure we could do you for worse than that, Sean. I want to go around to your house before I move to Japan to give you or sell you guys my Mega Drive and Mega CD and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And you guys were sitting playing on an Xbox that was modded with 1 billion ROMs in it. And
Sure.
Wow,
I've mentioned this before.
Massive.
It was probably Andy's.
That you think you go, I didn't even want to buy that DLC, but I did to give it money to the devs, because I really appreciate it.
I'm paying it back for all the years as a student.
He was a student, he didn't have the money.
That's never an excuse. He was a student.
What I did was I phoned up for me to Ueda and said, look, when I'm 36
Listen, pal.
and I'm 36, 37, I'll be one day I'll be middle class and I'll have a salary and everything, and then I'll buy The Last Guardian, and I won't even like it.
Sean just stopped them because he's realised that he's admitted to being middle class there.
Hang on a minute, you're not about to start slagging off The Last Guardian, are you sure?
No, I wasn't a fan, sorry.
It's fucking awful. Daniel, no.
It's not fucking awful.
No,
camera, I'll give you the camera. Camera's fucking awful.
I accept. It's just it's total potluck as to how Trico behaves for you. Right, so I know loads of people had a much better experience with it than I did, and that is fine.
I've got a question for you, Daniel. Did you play it when it came out, or did you play it sometime after release?
I played it immediately when it came out. I also very, 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 very tangentially worked on it because I used to work at Japan Studio for a little while, but before it came out.
Right off the opinion.
I really liked the bits you did.
I love that.
I did nothing directly on the game.
That was the bit I loved the most.
I did the Trico. I did the Trico bit. That was.
I put in all the feathers. I remember listening to Sean on some podcast or other speculating about that game when we were just about to re-announce that it was coming out on PS4 and stuff, and thinking, if only I could tell Sean.
I know you bought a PS3 for it, the fucking idiot.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you saying. The thing was, what I've noticed is that the people that rave about that game and the people that do not rave about that game seem to be the people that I think that had a heavy patch about 6 months to a year in. I genuinely think that. I don't know if that's true, but the way James was describing Trico was like you've met a different person.
Game.
I played it on day one, and I had a very good experience with the Trico. Yeah, it was good.
Even when it was diving down in the water in that bit.
That bit was horrible. There we go. But that was the main one that I really got frustrated by. But but by and large, because again, he's part cat, he's supposed to ignore you a bit.
Well, because Joe Scrabbles played it about a month ago as well, didn't he, for the first time? And he was just like, "Fuck is wrong with you? It's brilliant." I
think we need to. That's a stream series, Sean.
I know, but
finding Trico.
Need a PlayStation to do that. So, I'm sure there's an Xbox Series S port on the way.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh yeah, you haven't got a fucking PlayStation. What are you doing on this podcast? You're on PlayStation.
I haven't needed one until now.
Just get one anyway.
Such a fanboy.
Still got the game. Maybe I can emulate it. I'm sure that'll work.
Good luck getting a PlayStation.
Get it framed. Sean, I didn't ask you if you had any notes from last week's show.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, I listened to most of it in the car. So no,
it's just like scribbling down as you go down.
Nearly died, but no, it was great. Leon was ace. Obviously, it's nice to. It was always nice to hear Kane and Rincer let their hair down a bit. The wagon wheel chat. Yeah, wagon wheels are bullshit, mate.
They are.
Yeah, but Sean, are they salty, as David suggested?
There's a there's a
little tinge of salt in there.
Yeah, Thank you.
100%.
Look at Matt's face. He thought he
I don't believe they have.
Here we go. I've done Dave here. I've got him here. Nah.
No, so David, what you're saying is, David, that they replaced all the sugar with salt.
Just swap it.
And then they said, tell me what you think about the wagon wheels.
Also, why is that chocolate so thin? Like, I don't get why the chocolate was so thin. It was barely.
Have they changed them or something? Because I had a wagon wheel a couple of months ago for the first time in like years and years and years and years. But yeah, because somebody brought me one to Japan. Yeah, because you can't get anything like that. Well, you can get similar things. And so I was really excited for it, you know. And then when I ate it, it was like, oh, this is a disappointment. And I was bigging it up to my daughter as well because she'd never had one. She's 10. And you got to try it. It's amazing. And she had a bite. She was like, this is horrible, Dad. I don't want this.
Also, the perfect shape to just dash in your face, like, isn't it? You just from the other side of the room, you could just fling it straight back into your face.
Yeah,
it's perfect for that. How far could you chuck a wagon wheel? Get in touch. Next bit of feedback.
Yes, Mr. T-Pose. Hi guys, love the show. Since I started listening, there have been a few references to James T-posing in a classroom / lecture hall. For those of us who don't know, what's the story there?
Well, okay, I'll tell you the truth. So we had an email from someone in James's class, like one of his students, and he said, do you know that he does some wacky shit in his lectures? And I went, please get me a photo, and they sent me a photo of James standing on a chair doing a T-pose. And every now and then I like to tweet it out just to remind him of
and he keeps denying it, like, but obviously
insisting it's not him.
He knows we know the truth, and we know he knows we know the truth, so but he's still saying no. Yeah,
it's the truth. So I mean, keep retweeting it. Always retweet it. Never let that image go. It's like one of those, when you go on Twitter and you go, the BBC don't want this out there, so retweet.
They would hate if you retweeted it.
I don't think it really cares, mate. You got about 3 retweets out of that. I don't think anyone gives a shit. A bit like that. Go on.
Like Hakon Lingstad just had a dream where me and Sean were living in Japan for a while. I had to share a 9 backfire. A 9 tatami apartment with him due to budget concerns. There was only one bed. I was returning in the early morning after working a night shift, apparently at that Disney World by the sea. I did not pay for my train ticket. By the time I got home, I realised I'd worked in the nude all night, which didn't make sense. But I so wanted to hide my naked body from podcasting hero Sean Bell, so I did. However, Sean also managed to stick himself in the forehead with one of those 2-teethed relish forks. He called it an olive fork and insisted on wiping the blood off the bed, all while watching a stream on a huge television. I just wanted to sleep after my night shift, but I couldn't really get irritated. I got really irritated and I woke up. Sorry to say this made no sense whatsoever. Just woke up after this dream, really hungover, and want to get back to sleep, stay out my dreams. No patience left. I'm Hakon Lingstad.
It sounds like you don't want... if you want to go straight back to sleep, it sounds like you quite enjoyed it, Hakon Lingstad.
Yeah.
I think you actually wanted to see...
The dream carries on.
Well, Sean, why didn't you tell me you were visiting Tokyo, you bastard?
I don't.
He does that.
Really nice flat.
He does that.
Well, no,
he
because
visits places close by and then never gets in touch to let you know he's about. I'm aware of that.
Well, he's too busy having fun with somebody who's working in the nude.
No, because what's especially weird about that is that on the bonus show last night, I told the story about me bleeding in public. There was no fork involved, but it was So that's weirdly prescient.
So what is that? It's a sign of a higher being. Is that what you're saying?
It's proof that God exists. Yeah.
It's over that.
Heard it here first, guys.
This show took a wild turn.
Yeah, it could be that. It could be the fact Hakon heard that show and then sent his email in. But it's hard to say.
It came out today, though, didn't it?
could have sent this. When does email come in?
This was in the feedback form when I opened it this morning.
It only come out today, didn't it? Completely destroyed Matt's portal. And then
This person could have sent the message today.
When did email come in?
When did email come in? No, this was in the feedback form already this morning. So
Interesting.
Can we name the show "When Did Email Come In"? Please.
I think I said that, did I? Oh, probably
Yeah, that's what you said. Go
on. Mock Turtle Soup. Evening, gents. I finally got around to playing the Artful Escape this weekend after having heard you guys talk about it on the previous episode.
Oh my god! Before you continue, I was flicking through just the other day. I was flicking through Game Pass games. I don't know why. I was just having a little look at what was on there, and I saw that, and I watched the trailer again, and I thought, oh my god, I could do another run of that. It just made me feel like watching like a really old, like I got nostalgic for it in a weird sense, because oh my god, that game, I loved it so much. And I just I wanted to be back in that world again for a moment. It's so good. Sorry, go on.
At first, I was worried I was going to hate it because I wasn't keen on the art style or how it was animated. But the more I played it, the more I fell in love with it. For what is essentially a side-scrolling walking simulator with some light platforming and QTE sections, the visual style on it is incredible. One platinum trophy later, I'm glad I stuck with it, and I decided to see why you guys had loved it so much. Moral of the story: occasionally listening to people's recommendations can be a good thing. For Mock Turtle Soup.
Can be.
What a game! What an experience.
We do pride ourselves on occasionally knowing what we're talking about. So
it's funny. It's funny though, because that is really Marmite game.
It is, yeah.
I've seen a lot of people say I tried it and I hate it. But I don't know, man. It just sort of caught me, and I just loved every second of it. As he says, it's like a walking simulator, but what a walking simulator! Absolutely stunning.
Absolutely fantastic. That is it for feedback. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. Leave your feedback or question or do what you want. You know what I mean?
Sean,
it's your life.
Should we talk about how the news was composed this week?
In what way?
In the way that James was oddly messaging this morning saying, do you want me to do it? Do you want me to do it? Do you reckon he's getting to the point where he's like he's a bit controlling with the news now? Like, do you reckon he
might be getting kickbacks or something for putting in certain stories?
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that is a good point. Where did you get that idea from, Daniel?
Really quoting from us. These ones are all Eurogamer.
next week there's be a lot of IGN Japan stories next week.
Do you know how often I hear podcasts, English language podcasts, covering stories that I reported on or we reported on in Japan in Japanese, and then created in English. Someone's translated it, or we've made an English version for IGN US, and it's been gone through 15 different filters, and now it's a fucking whoever else story.
It's got to be
so
hard when you're putting articles out there, and then you're reading your same article on another website and describing you as a source.
Yeah,
hold on a minute.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, mate. Yeah,
people familiar with the matter.
So the PlayStation 5 is going up by 30 quid in the UK, or is it? I think it's €50 in Europe.
5,500 yen in Japan.
Yeah.
Zero in America.
Yeah, so America's fine. Well, North America's fine. But yeah, I mean, obviously this is interesting because obviously the news about the Meta Quest 2 the other week. And we're like, oh man, this is completely unprecedented. Has never happened before. What a weird one-off thing to happen. And then within weeks, this has happened as well. But I mean, so Microsoft have already confirmed they're not raising.
Microsoft has said they got no plans to.
No plans.
At this stage.
Yeah. Nintendo the same, right? Look, Nintendo be taking a piss if they up the price of that, right? Surely.
Yeah.
Honestly, Sean, today, Charlie he never does this stuff, but he tore off the rubber bit at the top of the Joy-Con, and it's really hard to get that back on because it's got all these little bits in. And I was thinking, maybe this is the final straw, and I get an OLED.
OLED.
It's just that £300 mark is making me go, fuck off. Leave it out. So if they put it up even more, no chance. But I don't know, man. Like this story was very surprising to me. I didn't think they'd actually do it. I mean, we're nearly 2 years into this gen.
It's been that long
now, yeah. They're obviously Sony are thinking about their sort of whether it's a pro model or a slim model, they've got to be working on new hardware. But surely a price increase in the base model has put those plans back somewhat, right?
I don't know. If anything, like, this just means they can earn more money now to cover, increased costs for everything around the world.
They're doing all right, though, Matt. The company as a whole are making billions a quarter. They're doing all right. It's... I don't know. I mean, yes, prices are going up everywhere, right? And yes, you're looking at, to ship something to another part of the country is, the price of doing that is more expensive now. I get it. But I think what sticks in the tooth a little bit is the fact that the console's been out for nearly 2 years, right? They've struggled to sell the thing. They've struggled to make the thing as quick as it's been flying off the shelves. And I think to pass that on to the consumer and not to do it equally globally as well, because some regions are getting it way worse than us. Some regions are not getting touched at all with a price increase. It just makes you go, is it worth it? Like, it must be. It must be worth it. Otherwise, they've definitely done all their due diligence.
I mean, they know people will pay money.
Usually, right, with a console, you get, over the course of its life, maybe you get the console like revisions, maybe you don't, but the price generally goes down after a few years once they've sort of worked out how to manufacture the same components more cheaply, or over sort of selling it in mass numbers, right? And I think probably like because the parts are constrained, obviously the price goes up, but also because the parts are constrained, they can't probably hit the mass volume that they had expected to hit to actually manufacture them at the price they wanted to, right? So I would imagine that's the reason, but it's really weird, isn't it? And for us,
we're expected to pay for that failing, and that's not we. I mean, I've got one. I'm not going to be getting another one. Like, I get it, but and you've got to remember as well that Sony went through a revision of their console to reduce a lot of the insides to reduce the cost of the thing, right? So the current ones, what they call it, the heatsink is way smaller than it was when it first launched. I think they reduced the size of the fans. If I remember correctly,
again as well. I saw a report saying that there's another one that's now lighter and whatnot. Just one country's got it at the moment. But yes, they're constantly revising it to make it more efficient.
All that aside, though, and you could make the argument, look, it's only 30 quid. If you're paying £450 for a console, you're probably okay to pay the extra 30 quid. The way I look at it is just go, yeah, but how bad does this look? Like, it just getting 2 years into this console cycle and then increasing the price, like, how it doesn't look good for them, in my opinion. And with Nintendo and Microsoft going, whoa, we ain't doing that. Like, I think it makes it look even worse. So
I mean, Nintendo sort of did just do it, didn't they? Because I mean, obviously the OLED it's got some improvements, but usually they would put out the improved version at the same price and then knock down the price of the old one, but they didn't. So, but I mean, for us in Japan, like as hard as it is to get a PS5 in Britain or the States, it's way harder in Japan. They've had like very little stock there. And anytime any stores do get stock, with the exception of Amazon, which is the only place you can just buy it if you're quick enough. Everywhere else, you have to have the members card, you have to enter a lottery, you have to have like maybe depending on the store, like previous purchases on your account, all this stuff, like crazy hoops they make you jump through. It's nearly impossible to get one. And so like we published an article about this on IGN Japan, and all the comments are just people are furious about it because it's like
really.
I couldn't even get one if I wanted to in the first place, and now you're asking me to pay an extra 5,500 yen, and other people are commenting, all that's going to happen is the reselling price is going to go up.
Do you know what the equivalent is that so you say 5,500 yen?
Yeah, it's probably about at the moment 35 or 40 quid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about around the same.
It's roughly the same.
Yeah, it's still it's a weird time we're living in, isn't it? Seeing this stuff is mad.
It's surprising in one way, before, never been done before. But then, given all the news about everything right now, I'm also like, well, obviously it's going to go up. Everything else is going up. I mean, it's unprecedented, but on the other hand,
but should we be like that? Like,
it's not whether I should or shouldn't be like that.
Yeah,
I'm also like,
fine.
of course, and especially with the MetaQuest going up by $100 the other week. Now it's like, okay, well, what else is going to
£70 for the games they're selling for it? It's getting. Bad, isn't it?
The MetaQuest is still weirder, right? Because it's a much bigger increase, and also they're still threatening a new one in October. I think, is that right, Matt? I know you can't say...
not even threatening. It's happening. Yeah.
So that is weird, because at least with the PS5, you can say, well, there's not going to be a new one for a while, right? It's not like oh, there's a new one on the horizon and it's more expensive.
But it does make you sort of wonder what kind of price they're going to put on PSVR 2, though, right?
Because that's exactly what I was just thinking. Yeah.
If they're struggling with this, I mean, obviously the chipsets they're using in that is not probably the same sort of high spec stuff that they need to use in the PS5, and maybe it's not as expensive to manufacture. I don't know, but it definitely feels like, well, if the strategy is cover our asses and make sure we recoup on these things, then I wouldn't imagine the PSVR 2 is going to be too cheap either.
I don't know, man. I could see that being very expensive when it comes out, and I just don't know who's going to be ready to buy that. Like, I don't. They must have been loving it that the Quest went up £100.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, I still think it's going to be very expensive.
In terms of PlayStation hardware, Sean, are we going to cover the pad later?
The pad? News? Oh no, I hadn't included it, but please.
We should add it. Let's talk about it now. Yeah, the fact obviously at Gamescom they also announced I can't remember what they call it, but essentially PlayStation.
Edge.
PlayStation's version of the Elite controller that you can buy for Xboxes for a while.
I think it looks quite nice, actually. I was quite surprised. I don't like the PlayStation 5 pad to look at, but I think the Edge controller looks pretty
lovely.
good.
I mean, I like the regular PS5 pad anyway, but I really like it. But there's no indication of date or price, but you would assume same price also as the Xbox Elite pad, which is £160. So that's another kind of potentially expensive peripheral or something else. So
I've never been interested in these pads though. It's never interested me in those things. I look at them and I just think, I'm not a pro gamer.
I was going to say it's not aimed at us, I suppose, is it?
If you're like on Fortnite or Warzone or one of those kind of competitive FPSs and this kind of stuff makes massive sense, or if you've just got more money and want to give it a go. But so next few months we're going to have we've got the price increase of the PS5. Well, this pad could be as I said, that kind of 150, 160 or more price range, and then PSVR 2. It's going to be a real expensive month for PlayStation, and expensive few months for PlayStation gamers.
Sure. I mean, the pad is that price, and it doesn't actually come with all the parts. You have to, if you want to swap out the analog sticks, I believe that's an extra additional purchase. Yeah, it's I mean, they're
really?
they know what they're doing. Yeah.
I never forget when my mate got one of those Elite pads, and we were playing Battlefield, and he said, "No, it's really good. You could be way more accurate with it." And then I watched him throw a grenade over the trench he was aiming for, and it landed in front of one of our trucks. And I just went, I think I'll pass. I'll stick with the one I've got.
I thought the Xbox Elite pad looked great, but I didn't even entertain the idea just because I heard like some reliability or kind of component quality issues. A couple of my mates who had them, they had like send them back for whatever reason. But this looks great. I don't think I want to be spending 180 or whatever it is quid on a pad myself, but I think it looks nice.
Okay.
Cool. The next story is that Bungie have confirmed that they're not going to vault things in Destiny 2 anymore. So this was the practice they introduced of, whenever a new expansion came out, they would just take some older stuff out of the game that people weren't really playing anymore, which we've gone back and forth on before. It's a tough one because, I understand in principle it's gross because that is content that people have paid for. On the other hand, everything they have taken out, I've been like, well, I had no intention of going back to that stuff. So day to day, it doesn't hurt me, right? But yes, they've confirmed they are not going to be doing that anymore. So they're still.
What are they doing then? Are they cutting stuff completely, or is everything going to be in it?
No, so everything that is currently in it is staying in, basically.
Okay, but what's the stuff that's currently vaulted? What are they doing?
Well, this is it, yeah. So they haven't said anything about what is currently in the vaults. I don't think there's any plans to necessarily bring stuff out.
The argument they put forward for vaulting that stuff was that it was too big for the system that they'd set up around it. So if they now then go, no, everything's in it, you go, Hold on a minute.
Well, supposedly, so the quote here from Bungie General Manager Justin Truman is that we've also been working on the Destiny engine behind the scenes, preparing our technology and our game to last for many, many years to come.
Okay.
So I guess the implication there is that they've maybe fixed whatever.
Yeah, they're teeing up that
limitation was there.
I mean, don't forget they also have a new parent company, right? And
yes.
So Sony is planning all sorts of online stuff, right? Lots of online games. So they might have had a big infrastructure injection or something. You never know, right?
They've actually raised the price of Destiny 2 as well. It's nuts. It's £80 now if you want to play that game. It's fucking wild. It was a joke. Right, it's not as good, admittedly, it's not as good as my Arctic Monkeys joke.
But yeah, this is great because for someone new to the game previously, like I'm sure it didn't make sense in it. Like campaign wise, if like earlier bits and DLC were gone and it was all kind of confusing stuff. So.
This is it, and they've made the point that like part of the reason they decided to do this was because they didn't want new players coming in and being like, right, why are there 5 campaigns? One where this one guy's alive, one where he's dead, one where this other guy's a good guy, one where he's a villain, and what the fuck is going on? Which I get, but also, as you say, it's still confusing anyway because you're just joining, the 7th season of a TV show that's been running for God knows how long. And
who's
also
buying Destiny 2 now and started at the beginning and playing right the way through? I'd love to know.
But I think like Sean's,
you literally can't.
Like Sean's TV analogy, you can watch season 1 all the way through, and like, should you not be expected to be able to play Destiny Day 1 content all the way through if you want to really see the game or see how it's progressed and moved on? I think that'd be awesome to do that.
I mean,
for new players.
If everything was still in the game and they're worried about it being confusing, surely all you do is whenever someone new starts the game, you just go, look, here's a synopsis, here's all the chapters. You can enter each one of them if you want, but just this is there is a timeline. This is the order they're supposed to go in. So if you're going to jump in halfway through, you're welcome to do that. But just here's some context you might need.
Sean, when have they ever given a shit about anything being too confusing in that game?
Yeah,
Jesus.
Fair point. 14
different currencies. I just can't wrap my head around it, and I've played hundreds of hours of it. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's as I say, even as a on and off fan, it's not been welcoming to new people for a long time now. But yeah, I mean, this is a step in the right direction. Obviously, so there's still the seasonal content will still cycle out, but that makes more sense because that is very much like an unfolding story, like week to week. And that's how that's designed. And at least people are buying the current season knowing that it's a time-limited thing rather than like, we'll buy this expansion and then, it turns out later when we might take it off you. So, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Absolutely good thing.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
The next one is that it briefly looked like Amazon might be buying Electronic Arts, and then it was like immediately refuted.
It was a weird one, wasn't it?
It was a bit of a strange one. So
anyway, EA just wandering the streets, going in it. Anyone? Ripe strawberries, ripe.
So USA Today claimed that sources stated that Amazon were going to formally announce a bid to buy EA. And and then basically this obviously caused a total shitstorm and was like refuted by it was on CNBC. Basically, analyst and co-anchor David Faber said, I've talked to some people who would actually know if there was something going on, and they say there's nothing going on. These are people who would be involved, who in fact were involved when our parent company was talking to Electronic Arts. So it was just this really weird sort of storm in a teacup moment, wasn't it? Where it was just like, God, this is insane. No, it's not happening.
All the reliable sources were tweeting about it,
Yes.
A lot of the people on Twitter. The one that, is it on Twitter? What's that?
Jason Schreier?
No, the other one.
Jeff Grubb?
It's not a name. It's like a avatar. That's the only way I recognise.
You mean Nibelian?
Yeah, probably. When they tweeted it, I was like, okay, right, this is definitely happening now. And then it was Amazon, and then who? Apple or Disney? So because at the moment that Amazon thing went away, someone went, oh, now such and such is going to step in And then there was one afterwards that just said, "No, there's not. It's not happening. Don't worry about it."
Yeah,
crazy. But it sort of again raises the questions about EA getting purchased. It's possible.
Yeah, it's absolutely not surprising this sort of thing could have, could be happening or could still happen. I mean, after all the Activision Blizzard thing, where it seems like loads of other companies are now saying, well, how much could we get acquired for?
Yeah.
Like the idea that any of these big companies, I mean, nothing's off the book. No, nothing is, there's a chance that anyone can get bought now. I don't think we properly anticipated that someone as big as Activision Blizzard just could get bought, out of thin air, as it were. So anything like this could happen. And I'm sure a lot of like, senior executives at companies are probably like, let's put some feelers out and see what we could get, who could buy us and how much we can get.
I should also point out, I see the irony of me saying it opens up the question and the reality of them being bought based on the story that wasn't true about them being bought, and the fact that the story ultimately end of it was that they weren't being bought. So
yeah.
But then the idea of Amazon buying like a large publisher / developer is not unthinkable, because A, obviously they're fucking loaded, and B, their own attempts to make games have not really borne much fruit yet. So it does obviously, like, I can see why this seemed plausible, but no, not happening.
I don't know. I kind of feel like if Amazon was going to buy somebody, it would not be someone who's quite so big in the console space, more someone who's big in like the mobile space, which just seems to sort of fit better. But like Matt was saying, like there's absolutely nothing that you can't believe anymore, because we all woke up to that Activision news and it was like, what the fuck is happening? So and there's been just one thing after another. Embracer Group, going out on their spending sprees and buying the Lord of the Rings and everything. It's like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, if we broke up tomorrow,
the next one I want is Nintendo buying Sega. That's what I want, because that is like the completion of the story arc all the way to that point, and then Nintendo by Sega. Imagine that. Look at Matt's face. He's fuming. Matt is fuming at the thought of it. He's fuming at it.
Maybe it could be the other way around. You can't count out all that Sonic money.
Yeah. Could you imagine if all Sega have been doing for the past 10 years is saving their pennies? And then they just come in for like 100 billion.
Yeah. They go up to the front desk of Nintendo with like loads of coppers and notes and like, okay, here we go. It's all our money.
They've been tipping into one of them Coinstar machines.
Yeah. They got vouchers.
What do you mean they take 10%? What the fuck?
Oh god, this was. Oh yeah, that's one for that's a cent. That one. I don't know how that got in my jar. Right. Okay. Go on.
Right. I mean, the next thing is obviously that Gamescom has happened. I mean, I was just gonna basically just sort of list off some things that interested me from the opening night live thing. I've not really had a chance to catch up on this properly because I was like without internet for most of last week. I mean, Dan, obviously you were there.
Incredibly exciting situation where Daniel Robson was there. Daniel said he's played every single game that they had at the event. So we sort of just want a good 10 to 15 minutes on every game that you played and what you thought. And if you could give it a mark out of 10, we will then we can then release that.
Small games based on a short expo demo. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, in terms of stuff that's reached me in terms of actual announcements. So I was really pleased to see that we're getting a new Tales from the Borderlands. Because
did you finish that one then, the first one?
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I did like 2 episodes of it. I think I tapped out when I got into the bar. I sort of, lost interest a little bit. And I remember there was some fatigue around those style of games, especially Telltale ones at that time.
Yeah.
I think I'd done like 2 episodes of pretty much every series they released and didn't get for any further. But
because Wolf Among Us, that was really buggy, wasn't it? I remember
Batman.
They
did Batman one.
Yeah, they did. Apparently, James says that's really good.
Yeah, I think
James loved them all. To be fair, and that's not. I'm not having a pop. Like he was the only one that played them and saw them all the way through. So, but yeah, I think I sort of tapped out after that. So who's making this one?
So it is. I've forgotten.
Gearbox?
I don't know. It's in the trailer.
We'd absolutely slaughter James for this.
Yeah, we would. But it's not really my job, so it's fine.
Good point. I'm only here for a day. I'm filling in.
I don't even work here, mate.
They did cart out Randy Pitchford onto the stage to announce it.
Oh, yeah.
He's not nice, is he? I don't know,
presume
Randy. I don't know,
Isn't
but
he?
like,
Is he not?
I don't know. I've never met him. Just heard things. You hear things, don't you?
You do. You hear things.
So yeah. Tell them. So out of 10, Dan, for this game.
Out of 10, it's a 12 out of 10. Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa!
wow. Official IGN rating.
Pure glossy. Wow. Okay.
I mean, the other one that was getting attention, I mean, I'm not fussed, but Dead Island 2 is a thing.
I was so confused because I was sure that Dead Island 2 had come out, but then someone got in touch and said, you're thinking of Riptide.
Riptide, yeah.
So you had Dead Island.
Yep.
Riptide was what? DLC or was it?
I think it was like a standalone. Yeah,
it was
like
a standalone sort of smaller
thing.
version of the game.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so I remember. I think I completed Riptide, but didn't complete Dead Island. Dead Island 2, I've seen nothing of. Daniel, you've played it.
Yeah, I played it at Gamescom, a 30-minute slice. Yeah,
Okay.
30 minutes. So it's not a short. Yeah, not a short little demo. It's a good old chunk.
Yeah. It's a good old bloody chunk. Yeah. It was fun. I mean, it's funny. It's sort of thematically quite similar to Dead Rising.
Yes.
Which is another game where you smash up zombies using improvised tools and weapons and stuff. So you basically, the demo I played, you're on Santa Monica Beach in Los Angeles, and you have to work your way onto the pier, which is all sort of fenced off, and there's zombies everywhere. And you start the demo with just tons and tons of weapons already in your arsenal. And it sounds like this is actually the stage is quite far into the game. It's not like the opening of the game or anything. And I don't know, it was nice because, obviously it's a first person game where you're going around shooting stuff, but usually those games do tend to sort of limit you to just the weapon that's in your hand and the one that's on your back, and you got to sort of be careful about switching between weapons and all that stuff. Whereas this, you're cycling between, now I've got an axe, now I've got a hammer, now I've got a bat, now I've got a knife, now I've got a machine gun, now I've got a shotgun, not a shotgun, a pistol. And then there was one weapon which was like these Wolverine claws, but they're electrified, so that every time you sort of smash a zombie with them, they just go and sort of jerk onto the floor. It's just really fun. And so they're sort of trying to get you to just experiment and use a lot of different to cycle between the weapons and not worry about it. The weapons are actually breakable, but even when they break, you don't lose them, so you can just go and craft them again. Stuff like that.
Are these weapons? These aren't standard weapons. Are these ones you can make yourself from various parts pulled together, or are they standard weapons you would find on the floor or whatever?
They're standard weapons you find on the floor, and then you can customize, which I didn't see any of the customization stuff, but I spoke to the developers about it, and you have upgrades, and then you have perks and stuff like that you can attach to the weapon. So they do all kinds of extra stuff, and you can add, like I was saying about the electricity, but there's various how do you say it in English? Fire and water and wind and elements. There's various elemental
Power Rangers.
I'm so sorry. I do this all.
That's Captain Planet.
Captain Planet. Sorry, yeah, it's Captain Planet.
It's like the Power Rangers. Captain Planet. But you can. So, for example, if you have a weapon like I had these electrified Wolverine claws, one of the zombie types was an electrician. He's all dressed in like an orange hat, helmet, and an orange sort of what do you call it, like the reflective outfit and whatever. He's very, very obviously an electrician. He's impervious to electrical damage. Similarly, there's a fireman
all electricians
character.
are. Yeah, I've met a few of them.
Yeah.
You would think so, right?
Yep. Yeah. They never get a belt off the car door when they've been rubbing their feet on the carpet. So it never happens.
I do like that as like an excuse for like elemental resistances, though.
Yeah,
that's good.
He's just a plumber.
It's just funny.
You can't drown.
Yeah, it's just funny. Yeah, well, probably. Yeah, I imagine there is that. But so yeah, you can sort of mix all that stuff up. They were saying that there's like I didn't get to try, but there's like an acid element that you can put on some weapons. So like you put it on a katana, so that when you slice through an enemy, they then start to melt.
Wow.
Okay, awesome.
Lovely.
I mean, those games have always been
and so it's it's just very, very gory and sort of B kind of horror stuff. But
Yeah, the games have always. If I remember that, some of that stuff, not to that extent, but some of that stuff was in Riptide, wasn't it? And there was a lot of combining things, and you'd be at your workbench and putting bits and pieces together. There was a whole thing about how every game was a zombie game not too long ago, and I suppose that's calmed down a little bit now. So maybe there is room for this.
Well, it'll be nice as well, because obviously, do you remember, the first game, and to an extent, Riptide was sort of weirdly hurt by that initial trailer, like the cinematic trailer.
Only by some people. Honestly, I thought that trailer was great.
No, but even so, even if you love that trailer, the game was nothing like it.
No,
that's the point.
Not, but then you just go, okay, all right.
It'd be nicer, like a new Dead Island that's just separate from all that noise now, and just
I tell you what hurt it the most was that bloody special edition they released.
Oh god, the
bust, half-naked woman.
Oh god, it was like that was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It was so tone deaf. There you go. Okay, so that's Dead Island.
What else? Gotham Knights looks cool, man. I seem to recall people being a bit down on this, but I've always quite liked the look of it. And it's out on the 21st of October. So this is basically, obviously, as the name implies, it's set in Batman land, but Batman is not around. I think they've confirmed that he is dead in this.
Yes.
So so you're playing as like Nightwing, Robin, Batgirl, and sorry, go on.
They believe him to be dead.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, he'll turn up, won't he?
Yeah, probably. He's always doing
that.
The
final cutscene.
But yeah, but it's. I think that was it. Some of the complaints were because they've confirmed it's only co-op with 2 people, right? I think it was initially going to be 4, and then they had to drop it, which is kind of a shame. But
because this is now next gen only, isn't it, as well?
Yes, yeah.
So they delayed it until next year, and it's next gen only, but it's still only got the maximum 2 co-op.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading the stuff on. This is how I read it on Wikipedia. Mm-hmm. The game is set in Gotham City after the deaths of Bruce Wayne / Batman and
they've given that away, haven't they? Fucking hell.
And Police Commissioner James Gordon. And I was like, what? And then I look closer. It says James Gordon. It's James Gordon. We're all right. Thinking. James Gordon is not in this. We're all good.
So yeah, I think this looks
what is
like
this?
a good laugh.
So what is this? Isn't it action?
Yeah, it's like a co-op brawler, basically. But yeah,
it's basically kind of like Batman, Arkham Knight style combat.
Is it really Arkham Knight style combat as a brawler?
Yeah, it looks like that kind of system. Yeah.
Oh wow, you've not played those, have you, Matt? Still, Jesus.
I played a couple of hours of one of them. But no, not properly. I mean, this game looked good, and I was excited for it. But the last showing, I guess it was at E3 or Summer Game Fest. It wasn't very inspiring. It's like, okay, we've seen more. I don't need to see any more of this. And when I saw it last time, I was like, okay, it wasn't a very good showing. I don't think the one at Summer Game Fest is quite a boring combat trailer. It didn't show anything new or interesting to me. So I'm like, okay, I don't need to see any more. I know it's gonna be, it looks great, but I don't know. It's kind of killed my hype a little bit for that. In all honesty.
Oh right.
We've been publishing exclusive videos all throughout August tonight.
It's brilliant. It looks brilliant. It looks absolutely fantastic. That game. Check it out.
No, I must say they're like. I mean, I wasn't like massive on the Arkham games. I like them, but I wasn't like. I wasn't crazy about them, but this looks a bit more sort of like pop, and it's not actually. I think it's not in the same universe as the Arkham games.
Yeah.
But it's sort of borrowing some of the DNA, I guess. And I think this and Suicide Squad, which looks like a bit more up my alley, but they're both sort of got this nice sort of chaotic pop vibe to them, which I'm quite up for that. Give that a go.
Yeah. There was also, they showed a longer trailer for the Expanse game, which I am absolutely thrilled about. So this is the one that's coming from Telltale and Deck 9. Which obviously, after we all loved Life is Strange True Colours, so that's, reassuring that they're working on it. And what was really cool was that outside of the usual, cutscenes and big choices and stuff, they actually showed like some third-person gameplay where basically, you're going to be like going around like wrecked spaceships, like you're a scavenger effectively. And there's going to be these entire sections where you're just going around these wreckages in space and sort of uncovering stuff. And
this is the problem though. After As Dusk Falls, like the main thing about what made that amazing in terms of a narrative experience is that it got rid of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Is it going to be hard to go back to a game that?
I know what you mean, but I think there's still a place for, that sort of thing where there are these sort of lengthy, sort of interactive bits, and it's not just constant story point after story point. And I think there's something to be said, because they're saying they're keen on the sort of being, sort of emergent stories of you just sort of figuring out what happened to the people on these ships and stuff. Like they're saying, there's so many games where there's like spaceship wreckages that just don't seem to have any people in them. Like it's just like, oh, well, this is a blown up spaceship. Whereas this is like, no, you will find the people that lived on the ship and what happened to them, and they will not be in a good way.
The difference is its gameplay looks a lot more extensive than just like sliding around the edge of an environment in like Life is Strange, like pressing A on things. Like this looks like there's actually some gameplay in between the cutscenes and stuff. So is there a new Expanse TV show coming?
No, so the TV show is done. I mean, it only covered like half the books or something, but they stopped the TV show at like a natural rest point in the books. But then there's like in the books there's a huge time skip. So the theory is they might wait like 10 years for all the actors to age a bit and then maybe try and pick it up. But nothing's confirmed. But this is set before any of the book or TV stuff, which fine.
So is this were like the writers of the original book involved in this, or is this fully a Deck 9 Telltale original?
The latter, I think. Yeah, I don't think the original writers are involved particularly, but then they are nerds, so they'll probably be. I'm sure there'll be some sort of consulting position.
Oh yeah, I bet. Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, what else was cool? I mean, I don't know how I feel about this, but a lot of people are talking about High on Life, the Justin.
I like it.
Yeah. Do you? You see, because I'm not a Rick and Morty guy. I did really enjoy Accounting Plus, which was one of his. Did think that was really funny. Nothing I've seen of High on Life has made me laugh, really.
Yeah, not laugh, but I love the concept. I like, I've seen one Rick and Morty episode and I liked it. Right, so I'm not against Rick and Morty. I am not, some of the fans are a nightmare, but like I liked what I saw of that show. When I heard the concept, I didn't know about this. Obviously, this game had been announced before, but I must have missed it. When I watched a gameplay trailer, you instantly know what the hook is, right? The guns talk to you, the weapons that you use talk to you, but also seeing the weapons interacting with the enemies as well, and the enemies interacting with the weapons as you should. I mean, like one of the examples given in the gameplay demo is when there's a kid stopping you from passing right at the beginning of the game, and you naturally try and shoot the kid, and the gun's going, I ain't shooting.
Yeah, naturally. The kid is you naturally try and shoot the kid.
The kid is saying shoot.
Yeah, the kid's saying shoot. Yeah. And yeah, I could see why people would be turned off by it, because it's that Rick and Morty style, isn't it? It's that, hey, fuck you, shouting, constant shouting. But I don't know, man. I looked at that demo and thought, do you know what? Give me some of that. I'd play that for, half an hour to an hour at a time.
I mean, it's on Game Pass.
It is. It's coming to Game Pass.
Because when I first saw it, my initial, without knowing what it was, I was like, oh, are they doing another Journey to the Savage Planet?
Yeah, it's got a little bit of Journey to the Savage Planet to it.
A game that was genuinely pretty funny. So yeah,
it was really good.
Yeah.
So this is out this year. It's out December 13th, Dave.
Okay, Daniel, you've played this.
Yeah, I played this at Gamescom too. This was definitely one of my favorite things that I played at Gamescom.
Wow. Okay.
I'm like you. I'm not like a huge Rick and Morty fan. I sort of quite like it, and sometimes it gets on my nerves a little bit. Like I find the humor gets a bit grating, so I was a little bit concerned about that. But actually, I laughed several times while I was playing this. Some of it was so funny, and that thing with the kid. I don't know how much they showed in the trailer, so maybe I shouldn't spoil what happens. But it's just so funny. And so you've got in your right hand, in the part I played, you've got this sort of like bug-faced pistol thing, and he's sort of like egging you on to just because like the protagonist character is obviously clearly like really reluctant to be involved in any of this stuff. You're the one human in a whole sort of universe full of crazy weird alien creatures and stuff. It's very sort of Men in Black, and like he's sort of just encouraging you, but you can tell that he's not that into it either. Like, he's like, well, yeah, I guess we should, this is what we got to do, right? And then later on you get this knife, and the knife is like, I just want to stab as many people as I can. Hurry up, just stick me in somebody. And he's shouting, I'm going to cut your anus out and all this stuff. And the way that they talk to each other, like, you've got a character that I think it's like the protagonist's like mom or something. And the knife's like, yeah, we're going to kill the bad guy, and then we're going to go back and we're going to kill the mum as well. and then the gun's going, I think maybe we'll deal with the bad guy, but we'll think about the mum a bit later.
I think the line that I saw was when he said something like, fucking hell, this is a bit strong, this guy's a bit much. Like, kind of sort of.
It's the way they sort of banter with each other. It really reminded me of Guardians of the Galaxy last year's game, which was my game of the year last year, and I just loved it so much. And just even though the gameplay I know was like could have been better, but because it just made me laugh from start to finish. It was very sort of similar sort of vibe to that in the end. The other thing is that I didn't get to try this, but the developers told me that you get other guns in the game, and so each gun has its own personality. So while this one that you've got is sort of reluctant, maybe another gun might have a very different take on it. And then so you're choosing. You can choose your weapons based not only on the abilities of the weapons themselves. There's like I think it's like a shotgun and machine gun and stuff like that, but also based on just how they interact with each other and how they interact with the NPC characters around you, and also the protagonist talks a little bit too. And it's just really, really funny. Like what I played anyway. Whether it gets grating or not, I don't know. But
there's a chance of that. But I'm quite looking forward to the fact that it's coming straight to Game Pass. It's perfect for that sort of stuff. But yeah, no, I watched a bit of the gameplay demo and I was like, nah, this just looks like a laugh. Like quite
definitely have a look at Accounting Plus on your Quest, Dave.
Oh, have I got
that? You might have. I think it's only cheap, but yeah, very funny.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
The thing is, just to go back to the writing, I think what's really interesting about it also is that they're not just using like standard video game script writers; they're actually using people out of TV and Hollywood as well. And I think, from what I played anyway, you can really tell that there's a very slick level of writing. Again, similar to like what you had in Guardians, where it's like feels like it's like maybe a cut above, but again, whether it's gonna get on your nerves after a while, I don't know. There was a really funny bit where you have the knife, and it's suddenly revealed to you, because each weapon has like a sub ability as well, and so you use those for sort of environmental puzzle solving and stuff like that. And there's a part where the knife sort of reveals to you that it can be used to swing, like Spider-Man, just to hook onto stuff and swing around. And the character's like, oh, really? You can do that? And the knife's like, yeah, you think just because I'm a knife, all I can do is stab people? You racist, and stuff like that. It's just so funny. It's just so funny, but just also functional,
When I see this stuff, I know I'm so conscious that some people are going to really like it, and some people are just going to get completely turned off.
Sure.
For me though, I saw that trailer and I thought, I will give that a go for sure. And it's weird, as you said, Sean. I've seen so many people say brilliant things about it as well. It's really interesting. So
I loved how it looked when it was revealed on the Xbox stage at Summer Game Fest. I thought it looked awesome. Again, having not ever watched Rick and Morty, but getting an understanding of what the humour is about. But I think I saw an interview of Squanch Games on one of the shows at E3 Summer Game Fest, and they all seem like they're massive nerds, but they wanted to see what their kind of writing will work like in a game and this kind of game. So yeah, it could be good. But I think graphics wise, it looks like, I love the use of color. It's really bright.
They use all of them, don't they? They use the red and the blue. And I saw some yellow and the green.
That's all the colors.
Sometimes.
No, it's very the visual design is really good. Yeah, it's very colorful and imaginative and sort of surreal, and it's very nice.
Cool. Speaking of colors. The Moonbreaker. Has anyone seen this?
No.
That's the one where you paint miniatures.
Yeah. So this is the Subnautica devs, Unknown Worlds, are doing this game called Moonbreaker. It's a turn-based strategy game, but it's all miniatures, and you can paint them yourself in the game. Which I'm weird enough that appeals to me, because I've already done a bit of it in What's it called?
Demio?
Yes, Demio. Thank you. VR one. Yeah, there's a whole mode in that where you obviously you're in VR and you can just sit and paint your miniatures, and it's weirdly nice to do. I don't know how it'll work in this, obviously, because doing it in VR is cool because you've got your controls. How it'll work in this, I'm not sure, but yeah, it just looks really cool.
Cool.
I think the other sort of breakout, breakout is already known, but a lot of people were talking about it, was Lies of P. This is the Bloodborne style one that's based on Pinocchio.
What?
Well, this is what interests me, right? Because a lot of people are like, "What the fuck?" And it's like, no, Pinocchio is just another one of those that like existed way before Disney got their hands on it. And it's not that obviously not the original, not children's novel was Bloodborne-esque, but it's not much more of a departure from the source than like the Disney film was, right? But no, it looks really good, and like obviously incredibly dark, but like looks gorgeous. I think that was the main, like the highlights from me. I don't know if there's anything else. We got
to play a little bit of Lies of P. I watched my colleague playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to have a go on a separate machine, but their booth was mobbed, because they had a very small. It's a very small development team from Korea making this game.
Okay.
They turned up at Gamescom not expecting anything at all, and it became like one of the most talked about games of the event. And the poor guys were completely mobbed from start to finish. But I mean, Bloodborne inspired is no joke, man. It's like it's very like when you press the start game button and it makes the noise like Bloodborne does.
Really?
Just, there's so much about it that looks and feels and sounds and smells like Bloodborne.
I mean, like the trailer itself, like just the way it's shot and the slow mo.
Does it come up in red letters? You lied.
Oh no! It's I think it's like your pulse has expired.
Can I just say, Daniel pulled a face of disgust at that.
I liked it.
Physically,
that's the face I do when I like it.
Tonight.
Yeah, that's the face I do when I like it. I like bad jokes. I make lots of them myself.
I mean, the other one you haven't mentioned, was this on the opening night live or whatever, but Sonic Frontiers, another show.
Yeah, there's a trailer for that.
Sean, look, we are a podcast that fully understands, respects the Sonic cycle, right? We are behind that concept. I think it's fair to say, where a Sonic game seems to be coming out, it looks really good, and then it comes out and it's done, and we start again and wait for the next announcement. I'm sorry, I looked at the trailer of this and I was like, oh my god, this looks fucking great.
I've not watched it, not had a chance to see it properly. So, Dan, you've played a bit of this, but it's under embargo, is that right?
There's some parts that I can talk about. Yeah, so basically I've played the stage that was in. So this time at Gamescom they showed a new area, right, which is like a desert area. I can't talk about that, but the part that they showed. Until soon. The part that they showed at previous things, where it's like the sort of very Shadows of the Colossus-esque sort of grassland, whatever. I played that at a couple of separate events, and I think it's a really strange game in a lot of ways, and I really like what I've played of it so far. And I absolutely understand why people don't like it as well. It's I think especially it's a game that when you play it, it feels much, much better than when you watch a video of it. And the sort of terrain looks a little bit sparse, and there's a lot of like pop in and stuff like that. I think you might look at that and think, wow, that looks really old gen, whatever. But when you're playing it, it feels fast, it feels quite smooth. And I think because it's the sort of small open worlds, I guess it's like a sort of sandbox. There seems to be like quite a lot to do, and each direction you go off in, you'll suddenly find some like grind rail that leads to, you don't even know where it leads, and to just follow it, see, and all that stuff. I think that the problem I have with it is, have you played Bowser's Fury?
Yes.
And where everywhere you look around you, there's like something cool to do, and in this game there is too. But in this game, because of the pop-in, you can't actually see it from very far away. until you get quite a lot closer to it. And so,
how far away is this from being released?
Because they announced it's coming out this year, November 8th.
Okay, let's hope they sort that out. There's the optimization thing, right? So
it's not like,
and they might nail that.
Yeah, so it's not like the Oblivion thing where if you see it, you can travel to it. It's like if you can't see it, you could still travel.
Might still be able to.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I think I want to like a Sonic game again, Sean.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it? It'd be
I do.
Nice to like a Sonic game again.
When did Sonic 2 come out? Like that was
Sonic 2.
It's been a long time.
It's 1992.
Oh my god, it's a long time. I was 6.
30 years, mate.
The thing about Sonic games,
I was 8.
If this is like solid kind of like 7s or 8s across the board, I think everyone will say, "Oh right, it's a good one." You know, I don't think people are expecting 9s and 10s.
Oh,
imagine the bar is so low.
Imagine, right? You pretend to be a Sega fan for some reason. Imagine waking up one morning and overnight the embargo dropped, and you look and it's 10s across the board, like every single.
That would be.
Apart from Polygon, would give it a 4. Right? We know. we get the deal there. But every other outlet gives it.
That
10,
would be
Matt.
If it's
what
like
are you gonna do?
Yeah, 10
do you know what?
Edge
Do you know
10,
what?
you name it.
I kind of want to do if the embargo is where we're all at home. Can we do a live stream when the embargo drops? Because I just want to see if it all comes at 10. I just want to see James Farley's face. Like he'd be furious. He'd be so upset.
Yeah.
I mean, he won't be because he keeps buying and playing Sonic games anyway. So
I know, right? He buys all the Sonic games, he plays them, but he likes moaning about them and he likes taking the piss out of Sonic. So if this comes out and it's a masterpiece, he'll be disappointed. Totally. That's his deal.
I sort of suspect. I think it's gonna. Well, I think it's really divide opinion. I think in the end, and I think if you get it, you're gonna really, really get it, and if you don't, you're gonna get what. But I think, because of the success of the movies and just Sonic sort of generally being this perpetually a brand that just appeals to kids a lot.
Yeah, it's weird.
The game doesn't necessarily need to be a 10 out of 10 game for it to do really well with that kind of audience. So I don't know, but I'm intrigued by it. And it's, I think the problem is like Sonic, they've got the 2D games and the 3D games, and they've repeated themselves quite a lot over the years. Yeah. So the fact that they're branching out and doing something completely different, and it really feels very different. I think that's pretty cool. And you can, because it's open, you can sort of go off and just have your own adventure and do the bits you want to do and don't do the bits you don't want to do. And, you and your mates are all going to have different stories and that kind of thing. That side of it kind of really appeals to me. So
I do definitely appreciate the fact they're trying to make a difference. If whatever this ends up being, whether it's lambasted or it's solid, the fact they're trying to do something different is commendable, rather than just it's Sonic and it's a 3D platformer. This feels like they're trying to, even if it maybe take a lot of inspiration from other games we may have seen. I appreciate
visually it's very different in a lot of places, which is I think quite important. I would like to say though, if you're reviewing it, if you listen to this podcast, you write for a website or a magazine, but remember those, and you're reviewing this game, please say in the opening paragraph whether you're a Sonic fan or not, because then I can just, if you say, I'm a massive Sonic fan and this is the new Sonic game, okay, well, I'll move on to the next review then and see what they think. Just make it clear, because I think that's important.
Who else are editors supposed to get to review the new Sonic game?
Well, this is the problem, isn't it?
Exactly.
This is one of those things.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those games, though, that I don't know, man. You can't get a Sonic fan to review it, or at least check their history. Do your research and say, but you gave Sonic Adventure 2 a 9.
Well, it's more, I think probably a better indication is what score they gave Balan Wonderworld. That's,
yes,
that's probably
absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
In terms of other games, it was good to finally see everywhere. Like the Build a Rocket Boy game from the original. Was it like Leslie Benzies? Is that the person's name?
Oh, the ex-Rockstar guy. Former Rockstar people came in and basically did a lot to make GTA what it is today.
we've heard nothing about this game other than the fact that it's been worked on for so long and they've had, so much funding, it's ridiculous. But to actually finally see it was great. But then a lot of the kind of language around it seemed very kind of blockchain.
Yeah, I'd heard about it.
No.
Haven't they refuted it or something? I can't.
Well, no, because they had job listings on their their site about working in blockchain developers or engineers or whatever. But it's a game where you can go anywhere, do anything, create anything, blah blah blah.
Right.
But I don't know. I kind of wanted to believe that because it's the pedigree of the people, at least it wouldn't be exactly that. But yeah, I don't know. That kind of took the wind out of my sails a bit when I heard about that kind of stuff. But still, very interested to see more of it. I'd like to think it wouldn't be full blockchain game, but I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess. We've got a release date for the new Monkey Island. That's coming out on the 19th of September, which, as I'm sure you all know, is Talk Like a Pirate Day. That thing that funny people do.
Oh.
Can I say, I've got nothing against it. I quite like Monkey Island, and I like the humour. I fucking hated that trailer.
Oh, did you?
I really hated it. It was just there was just something about it where I was just like, shut the fuck up. I usually I could be quite, I could be quite understanding of other people's humour and just go, okay, well, that's what you're into or whatever. But I like Monkey Island humour, and this was just, I don't know, man. I hated this trailer. Yeah, it really wound me up. But I'm sure the game will be good.
Yeah, I mean, we're basically 3 weeks away. Yeah. I mean, I know, September is, well, it's tomorrow if you listen to this on the day the podcast comes out. But yeah, we're getting towards the end of the year now, and this game is not far away. It's pretty exciting.
Cool.
Pretty exciting.
Was there any other games that stood out?
I think that's about it.
Anything
Did you play anything else?
Daniel, that we haven't mentioned?
Dune. Oh God, yeah, Dune. Yes, holy shit.
Dune Awakening.
Yeah, we get it's an
MMO. I was so excited.
Yeah,
it's an MMO set in the Dune universe. In the Duneverse, it's so exciting, and it's you get to fucking ride. I mean, they didn't show any gameplay, obviously, so God knows. But you get to ride sandworms. Yes, please. I think because Dune, there's been Dune games before. They tend to be strategy games and things, right?
Yeah.
The idea of having a full, I think did they say it was a first person? I think action. RPG. It's a survival open world MMO, they said.
Yeah.
So presumably RPG elements and stuff like that. If it's a full kind of fully built I don't know, sort of photoreal action game kind of thing, it'd be quite exciting to see that based on Dune. And they said that it's based partly on the books and partly on Denis Villeneuve's movies as well.
Cool.
Okay.
So a lot of the visual design was seemed to be plucked straight out of the movie. I think the same ornithopters and the same sandworms and stuff. So yeah, I like Dune, so I was quite excited for that.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So to the point where when I first saw Dune, and I saw maybe a shot from it, I was like, hang on, is that a trailer for a new movie? I wasn't sure. Then I was like, no, it's the MMO. Yeah. But yeah, it feels very much in the same kind of keeping as the movies. But
yeah, and obviously, cool. Because as you say, that world is all built around survival and managing resources and stuff. It'd be really interesting to see how they handle the sort of water management, right? The fact that when someone dies, they harvest the moisture out of them and drink it and stuff that's how intense they are about retaining every bit of water they can. So yeah, seeing how that works in gameplay will be cool. It will.
It's not far away
from me with the central heating, mate. Fucking
hell. Other than the games, though, Daniel, what was Gamescom like? What was it like being there this year? How was the feeling around the place? What was it like?
I was great. I mean, we've had the past few years without very many major gaming events.
Yeah.
I went to the not E3 stuff a couple of months ago in June in LA, and that was our first sort of overseas trip in 2.5 years, And just everybody all being there was so nice, even though everything was really scaled down. And then in Kyoto, we have a show called Bit Summit, which is an indie game event, which was also open to the public for the first time in 3 years. So it's oh my God. But Gamescom is way bigger than those. And I mean, there's a lot of people. The first day is business only, and then all the rest is open to the public. And you've got all the cosplayers, seeing cosplayers at a gaming expo. I've not seen that in a long time. and just I don't know, it's like hot and sweaty. Forget how sort of sweaty and stinky these events get. Having people just being excited for stuff and lining up for stuff, seeing all the sort of obviously all the games on the show floor, but also all the stuff that's not games that you sort of forget that you have at these events, like some car companies doing a thing where you get where it's like a assault course or whatever, God knows, right?
Yeah, so
just
weird,
seeing people injuring themselves at these events.
Well, I went to the British Motor Show last week, and now I'm not into cars. I've got no interest in them whatsoever. Drive a cash car.
That's not true. You said you love the red ones.
I know, I do like a red car, and it was so weird because the only touchstone I had, whatever, is like a gaming expo. But with gaming expos, you go to those and you play games. You go up to a console and you play games. It's not like I could just jump in a car and drive it around the expo. Yeah. So it's really weird. It just seems like I've heard this about some of the Comic-Cons as well that aren't video game based. The stuff that's about where you are literally paying money to go and spend money. Like that's the whole point. Like you've got the markets around the place and all the photos and the autograph sale cost money and all that sort of stuff. And this didn't feel that bad because you went outside and there was people like driving about and stuff, but also you just go up to one stand and it's like, all right, this is the Audi stand. Yeah, we got a little mini golf course here. Do you want to play mini golf? Yep. You do the mini golf and you hand it back and he went, here you go, Audi.
Yeah. Do you want to buy a car? No? Okay.
I can't afford it. I literally can't afford it. It was really, really weird. We went with Joe's dad, who spent the whole time there moaning about electric cars and how much he hates them. And I was like, okay, all right, whatever. Wow. Harry had a good time, though. That was why we were there. Anyway, sorry, Gamescom.
There was a car at Gamescom in the opening night live. Do you remember they showed the Pikachu car? Yeah, so they had that there. And
had a Pikachu car. I've not heard of this.
Yeah, it's a mini. Yeah, it's a mini that's all like Pikachu themed. But it's just seeing stuff like that in an event. What do you call it? Venue was really cool. But I don't know. It was great. I mean, there was I'd say this year there weren't a lot of massive games. I said before my highlight was probably High on Life, and I played stuff that is sort of. Well, AAA stuff, I suppose there was things like it wasn't playable, but Callisto Protocol had some presence there and stuff like that. But generally speaking, it was very much the sort of AA and then a lot of indie games and that kind of thing. There wasn't anything like massive. There's no PlayStation booth or Nintendo. There was an Xbox booth, and the Xbox booth was also just a lot of smaller titles. So in that regard, I think you're kind of a lot of the. So when game companies are preparing for a big show like that and they want to put their game out for people to play, they have to sort of have a separate team that's actually sort of preparing a playable demo of their game because their main team is actually still making the game, right? And so because the last couple of years there haven't been any events, a lot of publishers have just stopped. They don't bother making the things. And you could go to the trouble of making it and then the show gets cancelled or whatever, the last couple of years. So I suppose that's probably why a lot of the bigger stuff isn't there. But it was just really nice.
Also in terms of international travel, I think there's some sort of hesitancy from some of the bigger companies to send their staff around the world at this point, and it's still out there. So we were one of the very few Japanese media to be at any of those shows, and. Any of the international shows, for sure. How is it over in Japan with that stuff, with the COVID stuff? Is it still pretty strict?
Well, you still can't. We're not letting tourists into Japan still, but you can now get in with like a business visa or like a visiting family visa. But it's still pretty close. But we never had any lockdowns. We've never, it's not. We didn't really get like very high cases and stuff in Japan. Right. We're just now getting our first massive spike.
Right.
Oh really?
Is that
the last few weeks? Yeah.
Is that is that because what's the vaccination status like over there? Is it
pretty good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Oh right, okay. So the rollout's been alright with that.
Japan was Japan was late to start, and then once it started, everyone everyone wanted to get
have you had it?
No.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if you don't mind me asking, sorry, a bit of a personal question.
COVID? No, I have not.
The reason why
no.
I ask is because I remember being way more hesitant before I caught it. I think once I'd had it, it was kind of not like, it's all right now, I've had it. But there is kind of like a sort of a freeing thing going, okay, I didn't get that outrageously bad with it, but
and especially once you've had it, you have at least a couple of months of thinking, well, I'm the most immune I'm ever going to be.
Yeah.
Everyone wants now.
But it's like, that's the thing with gaming events, right? Going to a gaming event, it's everything you've been taught not to do for the past 2 years, right? It's like big crowds, enclosed spaces, touching. Everyone's got. It's like, here's a bit of plastic. Everyone touches it as you walk in, please. It's like, it's got to be a boundary to get over.
So we had Bit Summit, which is a much smaller scale event in Kyoto, and that everybody's wearing a mask. I went to Fuji Rock Festival. It's a music festival. It's hot. Everybody's wearing a mask. I went to Gamescom. Hundreds of thousands of people, not a single mask in sight, and we're all, like you say, we're all sharing controllers and all this stuff. But the publishers, it's all snogging. The publishers, are snogging.
There's loads of snogging going on.
Everyone's snogging, licking the controllers.
Yeah.
But they do, like, the sort of exhibitors, the publishers, whatever. They're quite good at sort of wiping all the stuff down after each person used all that stuff. Yeah. But I don't know. You just have to. There's only so much you can do, right? Yeah.
Gamescom, man. Right. Yeah. Cool. Is that everything?
I think that is everything. Unless there was anything else you played you wanted to talk about, Dan, or
me?
The lot?
I don't know. I think that's probably the main stuff, though. I did play some other nice things, but I don't know.
Secrets.
I feel like I've talked a lot. No, not really. Not secrets.
To do what you've been playing, I did want to start what you've been playing this week with Rollerdrome.
Oh yeah.
Because I have now finished it.
Okay.
And we spoke about it a while last week. We were all quite negative about it. I know, Sean, you've been enjoying it.
I have.
So I wanted to hear your view.
It was just really frustrating to listen to, because
I bet it was.
Why is that?
Well, because it just sounded like you're just a bit bad at it, and
oh, fuck you! Don't be one of those.
No,
people.
And that's what I mean. Like, this isn't me normally. I don't know. Like, I haven't got much to say other than I've not had the problems you have.
Go and check our scores and see how bad I am at it. I'm all over you.
Well, I can't check yours, can I? Because you're on PSN.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But I think the like, obviously every level, you come to it, there's usually like a new enemy type. There'll be new sort of hazards in the level, as you're saying. There's like bits where you can fall off and stuff. Obviously, there's a lot of stumbling going on. So I'll allow myself like one like shit run to sort of learn the level and how I'm supposed to tackle new enemies and stuff. But then
one, Sean.
Yeah, mate.
Wow.
And then and then I love it, man. I just I think the flow of it is just beautiful. Like the dodging stuff hasn't bothered me yet. I always I really like the fact that you start getting these these lasers on you, and then I'm like, right, brilliant, because as soon as one of those turns white, that's like another thing I can hit, get some ammo back, get a little bit on my combo meter. They're opportunities. They're not. I mean, they are hazards, but they're I don't know, man. I absolutely adore it. My only complaint is the fact that progression is tied to those challenges, right? So for anyone who wasn't listening last week or has forgotten or whatever, there's like each level has these like objectives that sort of look optional, but then they're not. And they're also some of them are just like score targets, but then some it's like do a specific trick at a certain point, or like empty a full pistol clip into an enemy before he can get his shields up. So little things like that. A lot of them, or some of them you'll do just through trying to play well anyway, but then a lot of them you have to sort of specifically go for, and that's when it falls down a little bit for me, because then it's like, especially because like the story's all right, or like so far anyway, I'm enjoying it's not particularly complicated or dense or anything, but I think like it does a really good job of evoking Rollerball, the film, right? the 1975 one. I found out there was actually like a 2002 one that was fucking dog shit. But it's like it does a really good job of evoking that. So to then and then it's like, oh, and now I'm going into levels just to do a run to do a specific trick and then get shot and die so that I can move on to the next round.
Yeah,
doesn't make any sense, right? Like,
yeah.
It's the sort of, those objectives are cool, and I'm glad they're in the game, but I think they would be better served if they weren't tied to progression in the way that they are. And especially because, as I say, because it's not an easy game by any stretch. As you say, every level there's a new complication to deal with, whether it's a new enemy type or a environmental hazard or whatever. It would be nice to just be able to play through the whole thing, start to finish, and just sort of muddle my way through, not really worry about being brilliant at it, and then go back and start score attacking and stuff. Whereas clearly what they want you to do is like to do that, but 4 levels at a time, right? And then, but I felt like at the end of those first 4 levels, and it was like, right, now go back and do the objectives before you can see the next 4 levels. I was kind of like, well, I kind of just rather just keep seeing new stuff for a bit, right? I don't want to have to go back just yet, but it forces you to do that. So that I find that structure weird. But the moment-to-moment gameplay of it, I think, is brilliant. Like I love it.
See, because I finished this the final level. I think the final level is interesting because I think the boss fight in it is terrible. Like the first time you do that boss fight, I thought was really good. The second time you do it in the final, I thought was rubbish. But that area before that boss fight, I thought was perfect. Right. In fact, actually, that sort of first level design, the one where it is like a skate park, right? I think those ones are great. And I think I by the end of it, I was really racking my brains because obviously it did something because I saw it through to the end. I even once I completed it, I went back and done some score attack stuff. But I've got 3 major problems with the game. The first being level design. I don't like the level design. I don't like that shopping mall one is terrible. It's terrible.
It makes hard to get a flow in that one, isn't it?
You just want to get about, you know what I mean? And then when they start sticking some enemies like up on the ledge or whatever, and you're just like, so then to have any fun in this level, I've got to specifically grind up here, go up here, wall run. I'm doing specific tasks to get to where I need to get to. So yeah, I don't like the level design in the vast majority of the levels. Secondly, the trick system I don't think is as interesting, anywhere near as interesting as it needs to be.
I quite like the trick system being fairly light.
But there's light and there's just, okay, I'm not really doing anything different anytime. It's just I'm double tapping left before hitting grab, or I'm going left right at hit and grab. It's just like your memory. It's basically a test of memory to say which one haven't I done as I'm
which have I done already?
And thirdly, I think the camera's fine. I think honestly, far too many enemies on it at the same time because it gets to. Now, there's 2 ways to get around this. It's either reduce the amount of enemies or refill my ammo quicker, because I get to the point where I'm kind of like, fucking out of ammo again. And all I want to do is go, there's 4 enemies down there. I want to go bang, 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 which you can do if you dodge on a white when the laser turns white, but that's not always the case.
You can't always fit that in depending on where you are and what you're trying to do. And
So like if I was reviewing it, I'd probably give it a 7, maybe. So I'm not like totally. I don't think it's shit. I came away from it thinking, oh man, this is you did so much to get there and you didn't quite make it for me. But I would say is that everyone's got a different idea of it, and it's not. I wouldn't put that down to skill level and say, you just sound like you're not very good at it. I wouldn't say anything like that. Is what I'm saying, Sean. I'm quite understanding of people's opinions of games,
Well, it's all right because Ben's in the chat and so that's my footage that's playing on Twitch right now, and he says whoever's playing looks like they're shit. So there we go.
Right, okay.
I should also point out someone else has said
Have you noticed that Ben's getting too big for his boots recently?
He's
getting way too big for his
lippy.
Very, very lippy. We can take away that little sword he's got next to his name. Way too big for his
Someone else
boots.
is saying the frame rate seems inconsistent. No, that's just me capturing footage and running the game at the same time, and it just
the frame rate's solid. The frame rate's absolutely solid. Yeah. I think the major problem for me was the level design. I think I don't like the fact that you can fall out of the level like that annoys me.
It still happens to me occasionally. It's just a hazard to consider, isn't it?
Yeah, but so is landing right. You know what I mean? Like, so why?
But that would be too annoying. I think they've just made a decision there where it's like, look, if we force people to land correctly, this is going to be like borderline unplayable. Whereas I think the occasional
falling
threat
off the stage too annoying as well. Okay. So it's like, I don't know, man. Whatever. If you like the game, you like the game. But I got to the end of it and I thought, I've probably done with that now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is I went back to it. Quid or whatever.
I went back to after our chat last week, and I was like, nah, just even with assists, I was like, I had my fill of it, and I said, there's loads of things I loved about it last week. The flows, sometimes brilliant. When you nail shots and slow mo, that's brilliant. I love how it looks, sort of the sound. I love even some little bits of story in between the levels, and when you get the really good levels that I really enjoy, like the outdoor kind of the first outdoor one you go to, I thought it was fantastic. But for me, it's just. Like basically a lot of the issues that Dave mentioned just kind of stopped me going any further. I don't need to play more. I got what I got out of it, I think. Did you bother using any assists, David, or did you just push through without?
No, I just went through without.
What are the assists? I've not looked at them yet. Are they?
You can turn anything on and off, like
it can be invincible.
You can determine the amount of damage, like percentage-wise, from 100% down to 0.
But then, like you were saying last week, that doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily make it feel any better, does it? That's just...
No, well, that's the thing. So last week I turned things down. I went invincibility first, and I was like, still annoyed. Turned it down to try and find maybe like the perfect level of damage. So maybe, but I don't know. I'm done with it. It's fine. I don't have to finish every game. And Have you played it, Daniel?
I've not played it, no. We got our copy just as I was preparing to come over here for Gamescom and stuff.
Yeah, don't bother. Give it to someone else.
You could recommend it.
Overrated. I noticed that. Did I say this? Who else recommended it? It was Eurogamer, right? I gave it Essential, right?
I think most.
Yeah, Eurogame got really high score. Yeah,
I think a lot of outlets did.
Full splash screen of advertising on the website for the game today. Right. Next. I'm just saying that's something that I noticed on that particular website. What else have we got? We've got there was the Splatfest this weekend.
Yeah, Sean. Mate. There was the Splatfest.
Now, you like Splatoon, don't you?
I do. I really like Splatoon.
I played this. I've not got this written down, but I did play this. I played 3 or 4 games.
We've been because Isaac saw the Splatoon 3 thing. When you boot the Switch up and it has the new stuff down the side, and he's like, "Oh, what's that?"
Yes.
Because obviously, of course, it looks amazing to a 4-year-old because it's bright colours, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I was like, "All right," and it was when the direct had just been on the other week, so I was like, "All right, let's watch this together." And he fucking loved it, so I had to download Splatoon 2 to keep him entertained. So I've been playing a bit of that again, and then leading into this Splatfest demo.
Right, okay, let's just get this out of the way. Who's Daniel? Did you play this?
I didn't play this one because I was here, but I played 1 and 2. Yeah.
Right. So, Splatfest was a 3-way vote this time, right? So
so all Splatfest is 3-way now. Yeah,
that's new. Yeah.
So they've added this mode where, as well as actually, how much of this do we have to explain? I know we sort of talked about it the other week, didn't we? This is so when the game comes out, there will occasionally be these events called Splatfest where there'll be some really stupid, arbitrary bullshit argument where it's like, right, pick a fucking side, right? And in this case, it was rock, paper, scissors.
Rock, paper, or scissors.
Yeah. Team Rock, by the way.
Yeah,
Team Rock.
Same here. And Team Rock won as well, didn't they? So,
did they? I hadn't seen. Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, why would you pick any other? I don't get why anyone would pick any other.
I thought Team Scissors were the most popular.
Because each one works equally.
Well, exactly. Yeah,
I know, but even then, if you've got to pick your favourite, you're not going paper, are you? I could write.
When you do rock, paper, scissors, though, do you have your always go-to one that you bust out? Do you always go rock?
No, I think
we play it a lot in this house, believe it or not. Charlie now has started ruining it by just putting one finger up and saying poo. And I'm like, no, that's not
That's really. I'd say he's
powerless,
improved
isn't
it. Improved it immensely.
There's no
Well, why wasn't Team Pooh in this game?
That's true. Yeah.
OP.
I mean, how would the other?
OP, isn't it?
I mean, to be fair, if Pooh was part of it, Paper would still beat it, right?
Well,
that's how you deal with Pooh.
Depends how strong. It depends if your finger goes through the paper, doesn't it, Sean? It happens. It happens.
I don't want to know what happens with the rock or with the scissors.
Well, exactly.
It sounds like it gets very messy.
You need paper, mate.
Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna test it later.
I'm gonna go to Dave's house one day and
I'm
gonna go to Dave's house and then use the toilet, and then just be like, Dave, why is there just a fucking rock by the toilet? It's like for your ass, obviously.
Can I ask you my first complaint about this demo?
Yep.
Did you instantly know where to go to sign up to rock, paper, or scissors? Because I was walking around that town a fair amount of time.
Well, because Isaac was absolutely buzzing about it. So the day before it actually kicked off, we'd had like a walk around town. Because he loves just walking around the little, the hub area. So we'd already done that. But yeah, I know what you mean. It wasn't because it's just this little market stall, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this little market stall off to the side. I mean, obviously, you do that once in that game, and that's it. You just remember from then on. But
obviously, in the context of the full game, you would see that market stall and be like, "Oh shit, that's not normally there."
Yeah, that's not normally there. Yeah. Can I just say? So I played 3 games of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's Splatoon.
Mm-hmm.
I love Splatoon. Mm-hmm. I played a lot of 2. I didn't play 1. I shouldn't have played this demo because it's just not what I want. You know what I mean? I part of Splatoon, or the love I had for Splatoon 2, was building my character, getting my weapons, getting my specials, piecing it all together, the clothes, all of that stuff. And playing this, I was like, I know what Splatoon is, and this is Splatoon, and it's brilliant, obviously, but I'm getting nothing out of it. So I should never have played it, really. So there
was no character progression or anything, was there? It was literally you were getting points for your team in terms of the Splatfest, but like you personally
all the weapons
weren't leveling up and
unlocked. It was all preset stuff. Yeah. I liked the weapon that I was using, but it had a shit special attached to it, and you couldn't swap that out. So
some of the new specials are fucking good.
Yeah.
Did you get you the crab mech one?
No, that sounds great.
There's that, and then there's one where you ride, basically you sort of blast forwards on like a shark, and then it explodes.
Yeah,
I use that. That was great.
That was really good.
Especially
has it still got some of the old ones in? Is the jetpack still in there? Because that was my
I saw people using that. I think
that was a good.
The thing you ride on was brilliant. If you saw loads of enemies, you're like, well, this is more like a suicide mission, really. But go there, explode, bang. Yeah,
proper good.
It's wild how that game sort of just sets its stall out, because again, and it's something we brought up last time, fuck, the amount of dialogue before you get anywhere near the game was doing my nut. I'm just smashing that A button.
That stuff get great, especially when it's every single time you boot the game up.
Really, it's mad. It's funny because like Animal Crossing does a similar thing, but it's nowhere near as irritating, right? You always go to the office before you start up. But this is just like rah, 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 and then fucking going on. And what was the fact that it goes, right, you're in a town now, go. And you're like, right, okay, but what? It's right, okay, you're in a town and now you're in a lobby, but you're still not in a game. So it's really bizarre,
that lobby's
isn't it?
Useful though. That's definitely an improvement.
God, that's great.
You can wander around, that's great. Make changes, can't you?
Yeah, trying out. It's got little so the lobby before you get into a match, it's got a little target practice area. You can paint the whole place, get used to just like firing around and stuff.
Could anyone use the vending machine, or was that just for show?
Yeah, the gumball machine thing.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
I won't do something with this, but no.
Yeah.
And then you can also buy food with a different currency. I assume that that levels you up or does increases maybe skills, but
it's increases like your experience points or money and stuff. Yeah.
I thought like that first walk into like the town, I thought it was really impressive graphically. I thought it looked lovely.
Yeah, I know, but it drops to 30, and that's much. I mean, it was bad back in the last game. It's even worse in this because you're used to like 60 frames. But yeah, no, I mean it's Splatoon's brilliant. This is going to be brilliant. I'm going to play it.
And like we've said before, we know the game's going to be good. It's how much have they fixed that infrastructure around it? And I was reading like a thing today. So basically, you can. I mean, and it sounds ridiculous that this is like, oh, thank God they've added this, but yeah, you can now form a team with like any number of friends. and then go into a match and it'll add randoms like any other shooter from the last 20 years, right? But for some reason, Splatoon has not had that until recently. So thank God that's finally in. Still no voice chat apart from the app, but you know. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about this. I mean, the new stuff on the soundtrack is incredible. I mean, it still looks nice, but then it always did. It doesn't look any better or worse than it has previously.
Yeah, no, it still looks great. I mean, you can see it's noticeably dated, you know, compared to modern shooters.
Yeah.
But it still looks fucking great. Like, there's no, I've got no problem with how it looks.
I thought it did look better in terms of that town at least. That felt way more detailed than I remember. The Splatoon 2
it's a lot
town
bigger
looking.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this is really impressive, even with the frame rate as it was. But
and plus, like, the whole Splatfest setup is just so good, right? Because it takes that normal town and turns it into this like festival. Yeah, and like you know, everyone's like weird little drawings. Did you guys see any funny ones?
Yeah,
not funny, but I saw some really good ones, some really rubbish ones.
Yeah.
Mostly Team Rock. Like, it seemed like there was a lot on Team Rock there.
Best team.
Yeah, I will play this game when it comes out. It's this demo did nothing for me. It showed me that this is Splatoon, so I will play that. I
didn't need to play this to know I'm going to get it. Did any of us bother with the motion controls, which are on by default?
Turn it off.
I was like, I don't want to play the tutorial with. Okay, it's like you have to go past the tutorial to turn them off, can't you? So I'm like, I don't really want to have to learn this. I'm not going to play it with this. But
yeah,
I generally.
Oh, God, sorry.
Oh, sorry. Well, I generally really dislike motion controls, but I quite like them in Splatoon.
So
I tend to play on my Switch in handheld mode
pros
anyway.
Will use motion controls, right? Like, you watch the people that play it regularly.
Yeah.
Because the analog sticks on the Switch Joy-Cons, they're not that precise.
Yeah.
Whereas for fine tuning your aiming, I actually find it super, super helpful.
Yeah. So I have it on, but I have it at the lowest sensitivity, so I'm not like constantly just looking the wrong fucking way because
How does it work in handheld though? Isn't it a bit annoying in handheld when you're just?
I've not played it handheld, to be fair.
Feels good.
Yeah,
it feels fine. You're not tilting the screen away from you is not pissing you off.
Well, because you're not moving that much, but that kind of sort of pulls you in a little bit. Yeah, it's good.
And I've been playing on a Pro Controller on a on a main TV, so that's how I will play that game, I think.
Yeah, I only played this in handheld, so wasn't a fan of the motion controls. But I mean, again, this is only like not even 2 weeks away. It's
is it really? It's that soon.
9th of September.
I need to buy it then.
Well, I need to get it pre-ordered because there's all weird, cool stuff you can get.
Oh, is there?
But there's like
where have you pre-ordered
it? So I haven't yet, but I think I'm going to do it on the official Nintendo store because you get like a sports kit bag and some other stuff.
Oh man, I'm all over that. Yeah, I'll buy that.
I realize there's bonuses.
Isaac's about to start school and he's going to need like a PE kit bag, so I was like, "Fuck yes, that'll be perfect."
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Charlie's already interested. Harry remembers it from when I was playing Splatoon 2, but I think Charlie's all over that. I will play that game. Okay. Next, let's go to Matt, who has been playing a little game called Elden Ring.
Yeah, back on. I started this before I went away. Well, no, I came back to it before I went away a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, and I'm playing it all weekend, or anything I could play, I'll be playing this really, other than a bit of Splatfest. And
he's not here. He's not here, right? My prediction is James is very deep into this game.
Oh my god! Yes, I wouldn't be surprised if he by the end of September he would have finished it.
I think he's trying to keep quiet about it because he just hasn't mentioned it. And he's not
look at his Chivo. Is he playing on Xbox or PS5?
Probably PS5. You know what he's like.
Yeah.
He's probably bought it for both systems and then
probably
playing on PS5. But we'll have a little look. We'll have a look. Yeah, in fact, leave that to me. I'll have a look.
Okay.
I guarantee by the end of September he would have seen I'll finish that game. But yeah, so I've played 40 hours now, and I've just done Godric. I did Stormvale this weekend and then Godric, which is awesome. That felt, I mean, we mentioned this, but felt so old school kind of Dark Souls. It is a fantastic area, Stormvale, because at first you're like, man, this is massive. How am I ever going to work my way around this location? How am I even going to get down to the courtyard? There's a million enemies down there, but eventually you do work your way around it. And really, really excellent. Godric was a fantastic boss. I've done that. And now I'm at, is it La Raya? It's the Academy.
Oh, Ray Lucaria, yeah.
Ray Lucaria, yes.
So good.
So, but my armor is rubbish against magic. So basically, I was like, okay, I got to like the first couple of bonfires, and I thought I'm just going to keep running around and see what other stuff I can see. And I found like a fog gate, and I'm at the boss against the wolf. I don't assume that's like a sub boss or whatever. I don't know. And I got down to half energy.
Oh, well, the wolf. What in the
academy?
Okay, yeah. I love that boss fight. I'm at that now. And yes, it's bloody awesome. At one point I was like, I'm just going to stop and maybe just like go around and collecting like the map pieces. And I was like, oh, well, how can I get like the map from the top left? And I'm like, it seemed impossible. Don't go near the top left.
Okay, well, anyway, I was like, I'm just gonna, I tried to go against the wolf boss in Relicare, stuck for a few goes, and I thought I'm just gonna stop and explore the map, and it got heavily pasted as I was walking around. But yeah, I'm loving it. There's a lot of games still to play, and now a lot of games coming out, but I'm determined to get it done by the end of the year at least. But no, it took me like a few hours to kind of get back in the swing of things and understand the pacing and what this game kind of demands of you. But yeah, I'm loving it, and it's all I really want to play at the moment.
Yeah, it's a very good game.
And can I just say, Ben's giving me shit in the chat again, because this is my footage of the game.
too big for his boots.
No.
This was me playing the game today after not playing it for months just to get some footage of it. I couldn't remember the fucking controls, Ben. So the fact that I survived this like 4 minutes of footage is incredible.
Can we ban him from being a mod?
How far are you all? So Sean, how much have you played this game?
So I'm something like 90 hours or something ridiculous at this point.
So you must have seen so much of the map.
Well, yeah. So I think there's like one major area I've not seen yet, which, as I say, which is why this game is so good, right? Because when I say to people like, "Oh yeah, I've done like the main city bit, so I think I've only got a bit left," and they're all like, "Ha ha ha ha, dickhead!" There's so much more to see and do. So, yeah.
And David, how much you played, David?
I have played about 40 hours, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm further than you. I got through the academy, and I think once I was out of the academy, the next area I did not like, and it sort of put me off. But I did play many hours after that, just going around and that, just having a little look. I did the underground area after that, and a few of the little mini castles that I missed. Yeah, no, I just checked James Farley's PSN, and he has not played it as much as I thought he had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I thought he was gone quiet because he was smashing it.
Knowing James, he probably would have like turned something off so we can't.
Yeah, probably right.
He's a kind of game where I'm like, I guarantee he's just playing it every night. Playing
bought a Steam Deck,
he'll
playing
get
it on
done.
that.
And it was like, yeah, I did the whole thing in like 42 hours. What are you worried about? Have you played much, Dan?
Not that much. I bounced after a few hours, to be honest.
Really?
I'm comically bad at Souls games. So as much as I like them, and I loved Bloodborne, but again, sort of slightly biased because I, again, very tangentially worked on the marketing around the game.
Can you delete that from the pod, Matt? Yeah, I like Bloodborne bit.
But I played a ton of Bloodborne before it came out, and so I had a nice head start. But I liked the sort of faster tempo of Bloodborne compared to Dark Souls and stuff. Elden Ring, I played a few hours, and basically I spent most of my time picking off very feebly weak enemies to in an attempt to I wanted to grind a little bit before trying to take on any of the harder enemies because I'm very bad at those games. But eventually I got a bit bored of grinding. But it's still there on my Xbox. I haven't deleted it because I feel like I'm gonna go back to it eventually.
Those games that I've got so many gigabytes dedicated to that.
Exactly.
I'll go back to it one day, I'm sure.
Sure.
Cool. All right. Is that it, Matt?
Yeah, just and I feel like there's gonna be a lot of games in the future now. There's, baby.
Yeah,
just busy couple of months, isn't it?
Just a quick shout out from me for Walkabout Mini-Golf again. I know we've spoken about it recently a couple of times, but we've just been like regularly playing it, Sean. And you're absolutely right. Yeah, I mean everything you've been saying all this time about Walkabout Mini-Golf is you've been absolutely bang on because it's just non-stop fun. You know, we what's the deal with the getting new balls? different types of balls.
So you find them. So for every hole, there is a hidden ball somewhere in the environment.
Right. Okay. So that's not true because
what do you mean?
We haven't seen one. We did like 4 courses over the past 2 or 3 nights. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen one in any of them. But the one course we did last night, we saw about 20 balls.
There's one ball for every hole.
Yes, one per course.
Oh, for every hole on every course.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Right, we're gonna have to go back and do some more then because just absolutely brilliant. Like all that sort of stuff. I had. Basically, the last 2 games, one of our listeners, a very good friend of mine, Chris. He also listens to the show. I've been playing with him, and it's so funny how the dynamic works between me and him playing each other. First of all, he flies ahead. He was 7 shots ahead of me at one point the other night because it takes me a while to warm up. But then his fucking head goes with the pressure. and in that same, we drew at the end of that one. Last night we played, he was 8 shots ahead of me, Sean, right? And it finished, he just beat me by 1 shot in the last hole. Because it's just... Like, genuinely, I think PokerStars VR is probably my favourite VR game I've ever played, right? But I think this is equal to that because it's what I love about a VR game like this is that you go, the market can't be like massive for it, right? I mean, I'm sure it does well enough, whatever.
Oh, it's been huge. Yeah.
But the market, I just look at this and I just go, you've absolutely nailed it. Like, there's no way you could do a VR mini golf game better than this. You can't do it. Like, I think this is it's an incredible game. I think this is the sort of shit that Sony need to just get straight on their system. You know, they need to lead with stuff like this poker, you know, various other games we've mentioned or whatever. Get that on PSVR because this is the stuff that you can plonk a headset on anyone. It's simple, so it's not confusing to play, and you're sitting playing mini golf, which is something everyone enjoys doing anyway. Like, it's the perfect VR game.
Like, it's that perfect intersection between, like, it's an activity that you already know and requires basically no explanation. Yeah. But then, like, but just the designs of the levels and stuff and how interesting and weird they get. It's like, no one could ever build this as a golf course. This is insane.
No.
Like, it's...
Yeah. Some of the windmill stuff where you're trying to knock it onto a windmill. It's just...
Oh god, yeah, the Coyote Valley level, so good, that level.
So the DLC, you buy that piecemeal, right?
Yeah, they're like.
Is there like a bundle with all of it?
I don't think there is, no, because they keep adding new stuff all the time. So
I need to, and only one of you needs to own it.
Yes.
Okay, right. Well, I'm buying it all then.
I think
I'm gonna get all the DLC for it.
The people who don't own it can't like unlock the balls and stuff, but that's it.
Right. Okay. Chris will get it then as well. If he can't unlock the balls, he'll get it. He'll buy it.
Yeah, Scientology just said needs to be more streams of this. I would love to play more of this on stream.
I'll play more of it. Ian wants to play with us.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it'd be quite funny to because he's really good at it. Apparently, he says he's basically the Tiger Woods of mini golf. So we'll check that out.
Have I told you about getting the extra clubs as well?
I questioned that. I said, are there any extra clubs? What? Yeah. No. How do you get them?
So for the normal version of every course, there's the extra balls and one for every hole. But then in the hard mode, so somewhere near where you start, there will be a riddle, and there's like a series of riddles you have to follow through the course.
That sounds amazing.
It's proper good. And then if you solve all those for any given course, you get a cool bonus club to use.
Okay, we're doing that. I also obviously I mean, just a quick shout. We've been playing PokerStars VR again. You know, we'll have to have a night before we do a tournament just to get through, because it is more complicated than say Walkabout Mini-Golf. But you can now bet in-game currency, Matt, on Premier League football matches in PokerStars VR. It's so fucking good. So I put like loads of my in-game currency on Man City to beat Palace last weekend. Oh, I was delighted. Made a good 10k on that, Matt.
whatever. No, the rich team won. Enjoy your new striker. But no, that's amazing. I mean, like, the fact you can. I mean, I probably shouldn't get back into betting after last time, but no, that sounds.
So what is it, Matt? You only told us about the good news about how much money you made.
I was forced to stop after that. So,
yeah.
By my family.
Cool.
Family. But is it happened to what? So is it
intervention?
Yeah, well, yeah. My daughter kind of caught me on like Bet365 or Sky Bet saying, "Mummy's doing it again."
No, really?
But no, it was for the best. It was for the best.
Mummy's doing it again.
And no, I only got like into it because
you're winning to it, then she'll leave you alone.
Yeah, I only got into it properly because I like had a decent win. If it wasn't for that decent win, I would have. Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, that's literally how everyone gets screwed over, Matt. That's the problem. Chase him, right? Is that it? Have we covered?
No, I had a question. So is it? Can you watch the game? Can you watch?
No, can you watch? Can't.
I was gonna say, no, it's coming out. Okay, cool. So it's saying what the match is on now. You can place a bet on.
No, it's like in the week you can just say it brings up. You go to sports betting, it brings up the baseball, football, and then it says like here's 3 matches. You click on which match you want, and then you click win, lose, or draw, and then you gamble as much as you want. Basically, it's ridiculous.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun when we play that. Is that it? Have we discussed all the games we want to talk about?
I think so, yeah.
Can I give a very quick shout out to a couple of games that were really fun that I played at Gamescom? Very quick. I know it's pretty late. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. If you like Ghostbusters, it's a really fun game. It's a sort of what do you call it? Like the unbalanced multiplayer, so 1 versus 4, and it just the whole concept works so well with Ghostbusters because 4 Ghostbusters versus a ghost, and it sort of just works around. And of course, it's all because it's licensed, and they've got everything sounds and looks like it should. And they've sort of recreated the firehouse and the Razor Cult bookstore and all this stuff. And it's set like directly after the last movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. So it's like it's actually a proper
canon,
piece of canon or whatever. And it was just really fun. Yeah,
they got people like, I think Rahul Kohli is the voice of the book or something. I'm sure he's in there, and other people like Greg and stuff.
That's cool.
So it's got some other big voices as well.
Yeah, no, I played 2 games. One as a Ghostbuster as part of the team, and then as the Ghost. And you would think that the Ghostbuster is going to be the more fun role, but actually the Ghost was really fun as well because you can possess stuff. And then it's a bit like Splatoon. You have to kind of submerge yourself in something in order to recharge your PKE level. But there's a bit where it was in a museum, like a natural history museum, and I just inhabited like a little starfish, and I'm just flopping around the floor as this little starfish. It's just really funny. It's really fun. And another game called You Suck at Parking was really fun.
Oh yes.
Oh, I've seen this. Yeah,
I streamed. Yeah, there's a demo of it a while.
Oh, that's where I saw it. Yeah.
It's how's it coming along? Because obviously it's quite an early demo when I played it. But
okay, well this is I haven't played any earlier versions of it, but it's just really fun. It's the idea you've got a car, you've got to park it, and all you can do is drive forwards. There's no reverse, and if you stop the car at any time, you've parked. But if you're not in the parking space, then you're dead, right? So you have to basically not stop. You have to keep going, keep your momentum up, but not. If you miss the parking, if you go past the park, you can't go back either. So it's this sort of balance of trying to keep in control of this really unwieldy little car, and there's all this very cartoonish physics and stuff going on. So that's really fun. And then the other one was Pentiment, which is Obsidian's new game. That's I think just off a 30-minute demo, it's a little bit difficult to know, but I really appreciated the fact. So it's basically you're going around trying to solve like a murder mystery. Almost in a similar sort of vein to Ace Attorney, but the visual style is all like sort of Tudor style, like Shakespearean style, sort of crudely drawn visuals and stuff like that. But what I quite liked about it was that when you're investigating, you're talking to people, you're interrogating people, whatever, and you want them to give you information. Usually in those games, you get like a conversation tree, and you don't really know which option is going to lead you to what you pick an option and you're like, no, that's not what I wanted to say, whereas this, it has this thing where before making like any important decision, instead of choosing a conversation option, you can choose to just hear a thought bubble, and then the character starts thinking about it more deeply about, well, this is the information I need to get from them, and this is, I want to push them in that direction, but if I push too hard, then they might react this way. And it sort of starts to give you a bit more kind of context, and then you can make like this. Then you can think, oh well, in that case, I'm going to do this or that. It sort of felt like it solved that quite old problem that those games have. So on a mechanical level, it was quite good, but also just I quite like the art style and the everything's sort of handwritten in all of the speech comes up in these handwritten like speech bubble things, and it's all like it's written on parchment in like old-fashioned fonts and stuff. But every now and then they'll make like a spelling mistake, and then they'll get to the end of the sentence and they'll go back and correct it. And just it's just really sort of nicely.
A bunch of previews didn't come out last week? I assume. I mean, it felt like they all. I guess it was coincided with Gamescom. But when is that game out?
It's November, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Did they give it? I think they gave an actual date, but it's Cool.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Wicked.
Should we get into questions?
Yeah, go on then. If you want to send us a question, go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. MD Kriboffs says, "Do you collect anything?" Question mark.
Oh,
It's quite a good question.
I've got an answer saying I bought today. I don't know if I am classed as a collector yet. This is maybe more for the
stamps.
For the video people, but today I don't quite know why I did this, but I bought the FIFA World Cup Panini sticker album.
Oh man! Oh my gosh!
I mean,
they're really bad.
I haven't bought one of these since I was obsessed at school. But obviously at school we can do swaps, so I don't know how a 39-year-old man is going to do this. And honestly, I don't know if I'm going to go further than like the kind of the initial pack I got. I mean,
wait, here's the thing. Go to the last page, or the last page where you can see a sticker. And read the number out.
Well, it's all different. It's all.
They've coded it differently, haven't they? So it's harder to see how much you're getting screwed.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
The back page is a history of the World Cup timeline. So,
oh my God.
Anyway, I was like, oh man, I haven't bought one of these in a million years. It's like a starter pack for a $5. You got like 40 odd stickers. I'm probably not going to go further than this, but hey, it was bloody fun spending about half an hour of LED, peeing the stickers, sticking them in a book.
I've got the problem where Harry's obsessed about
600 quid on stickers.
Yeah, Harry's obsessed about this stuff, so that'll be me now for the rest of the year.
I think this album's wrong as well because they've obviously since changed the date of the opening game, so I'm fairly sure the opening match is wrong in this album. But so Panini sticker albums maybe, I don't know.
I'm not a collector really, although I'm starting to get into trouble I've mentioned about getting a few football shirts from a friend is sending some football shirts over to me, like from players after games and stuff. And Joe is getting upset with how many I'm getting because we're running out of wall space.
I was going to say these aren't ones to wear. I assume these are
on a wall. You put them in a frame and hang them up and stuff. And they're all in the boys' bedroom at the moment on the wall. But apparently we're getting 2 more this week. So I don't know what we're gonna do.
That's a great collection.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, I'm like incredibly fortunate, and oh God, it means so much to me as well. It's the team that I support. I'm absolutely blown away. But poor old Jo, she's not. I'm just thinking once we've got our ass, with like a bar in the back or whatever, I'll whack them up behind that. Be plenty of woe. Plenty of woe. That and the Zelda frame. Yeah. I'll put them all up behind the bar, girl. Go on, pour yourself a gin and tonic while you're at it. Daniel, are you a collector?
I just collect pictures of Sean's nice lips. Got loads of them.
Oh, don't we all?
I'll pose for a few when we're done.
Basically, I have like a lovely. When I was younger, I used to like collect everything from like Star Wars toys and Nirvana records and stuff like that. But when I moved to Japan, I had to sell most of my possessions or give away most of my stuff. I took very little with me, which was quite a nice little cleanser. But I sort of have a natural instinct to I have to be a little bit careful. Nowadays, I every now and then I'll have like a little episode and go on eBay, and suddenly I've got some really old Thundercats toy or whatever in my apartment, and somebody's kept it in like, you know, pristine condition, in like museum conditions or whatever for decades, and now it's in my sweltering hot Tokyo apartment where it's like 100% humidity in the summer. It's like, I'm pretty sure this is not how these things are supposed to be kept. So
well, because I'm really bad for buying Hot Wheels cars now, which, you know, once upon a time I could blame on Isaac. Oh, it's for him, but that's not really the case. Like, obviously, I'll give them to him, and then he loses interest almost immediately now.
Then you're there pouncing. That's mine.
There was one that I got, and I said to him, I was like, you know, Daddy buys you Hot Wheels cars all the time because we both love Hot Wheels, and that's great. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I've bought one for me now.
No.
In fact, I can show you. Hang on. So this was one. So it was on, you know, the Hot Wheels City, the show.
No, we don't.
Didn't know there was one.
It's really good. Wasting your time. Ooh, Breaking Bad. Fuck that. It's like the stop motion animation. They use like all the real cars, and there was this one, and I saw it. I was like, I need that. It's so cool. And yeah, ended up finding it on eBay for a tenner, which is you know, a markup.
It's a good old price, that.
And it's I'll just have to refocus the camera, but if I can.
Oh, it's ugly.
Look at that. It's sick as fuck, mate.
It's out of the box, surely. It's out of the box.
Of course it's out of the box. So, sorry, the point I was going to make is...
How else is he going to play with them?
Yeah, exactly. To Daniel's point, like, yeah, you know, obviously people sell these on eBay, and it's like brand new in box. I'm like, get it out. It's a fucking toy.
Yeah.
Play with it.
I feel really, I'll sometimes come home with like some fucking 20, 30-year-old beautifully boxed Star Wars toy, whatever, and just get it out of the box and play with my daughter, With what?
With a 30-year-old foot. That's not a good thing to collect.
No, well, I mean, I don't know. Unless you're trying to build a 30-year-old Frankenstein's monster or something.
Constantly. That's my life's work. Okay, what's the next question?
Yeah. Next question comes from Maria Mendieta. It says, Dear TCGS, copy abilities. The chat with Leon about the Switch now feeling old illustrates how gaming needs evolve. Are there any games or genres you got into during the lockdowns but have not revisited since? Animal Crossing New Horizons seems about as enticing as walking along a beach lined with sludge. Keep up the terrific output.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess that's the ultimate, isn't it? But Animal Crossing was such a huge influence on our lockdown. The thought of playing it now just like makes my skin crawl. But
if there's a new Animal Crossing, you'd play it surely.
Probably, did you not? Yeah, probably. Yeah. But mainly because of the kids, like not myself.
Did you not play them before this game? You must have done.
Yeah, I played one. Didn't really enjoy it. I played the new Leaf, the one on the 3DS.
3DS,
Yeah, I didn't really get into it. I know James is having a meltdown listening to this, but yeah, I think that's it. I would never have played that game to the extent that I did if it wasn't for the situation we were in. So yeah.
I mean, obviously, you know, I got well into Sea of Thieves mostly because of COVID, but obviously that has stuck. Like I'm probably maybe a few weeks away from probably not doing the streams anymore. I'm not sure yet. Because I think that's going to become a thing. Like we'll play it when new stuff comes out, but I don't think we'd be playing it weekly anymore if it wasn't for doing the streams. So yeah, I don't know. That was the only one for me, and as I say, that sort of continued.
Oh shit! I guess the other example I got is pro clubs. Getting into FIFA pro clubs.
I was giving my example. Yeah.
Oh my god, we were playing it every night for a long time, and it's such a terrible video game, FIFA.
Well, I'm excited for FIFA 23.
We can't wait. We can't wait.
You're right back into it. Dave, we absolutely. I know Chris has suggested it already, but we absolutely need to have like a kind of a send off. Like I want to.
No. We've decided against that. Because if we play a pro clubs game on FIFA on the last FIFA, then we will be reminded by how shit that video game is, and it will kill the excitement for the new one.
One night on it. One night, all of us.
No, also, but you only played it for fucking one night, right? Honestly,
Obviously
this
not
year,
true.
This year,
Exaggerating for the show.
This year, please play it for longer because
I played it loads with you.
Not this year's one. Not this year's one. You played it for about a week.
No. I didn't. I had FIFA 22.
Yeah. So we will be playing that this year. But yeah, I got into that. Daniel, was there anything that you didn't have a lockdown, did you?
We didn't have any lockdowns, but that said, I mean, there was a long period where there was no school, and my daughter was home a lot, and I've been working from home for the past 2.5 years, so we spend more time together. And the big boom around Animal Crossing, or personally, that's not really my interest at all, but my daughter got really into it, and it was the first game. She was also tangentially interested in games, but it was the first game that she really, 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 really got into, and then during that period, it's good, right? It was a nice. It was nice to see her sort of going out collecting stuff, building up collection, making her own little museum and stuff, and then wanting to show it to me and things like that. I really sort of appreciated all of that. And then from there, she got into Sims and Splatoon and all sorts of stuff like that.
Nice,
cool.
So I think I have a lot to feel thankful for the for the pandemic. It's been horrible in many ways, but
I think that's the same as your topic. That was the first game Elodie properly got into, and then she played like little bits of other games here and there. But yeah, now she loves Roblox, loves Minecraft. Played a bunch of Minecraft over the weekend. We're currently building a massive mansion. It took ages to build this underwater. We thought, okay, we built like an underwater area, and I forgot they have to like block off various parts and use sponges to suck the water up, and we made it way too big. It took hours, but we're loving that. She loves Roblox.
It's wicked, yeah. My daughter in Minecraft built an assault course. Like with all like stuff that works, like I don't know, stuff that you can trigger to and it'll rocket you off and stuff like that. She's just been watching like YouTuber videos or whatever and then learning how to do it, and it's been
cool.
My
daughter watched a lot of that, and she's like, "Oh no, can you need this to do that?" And I built this mine cart, and I was like, "How?" Dave and I played like alpha days, and obviously it's come on to 10. I haven't played it since then, but like Elodie just on YouTube videos to know, you just have to do this to do that to build this. And
see, Harry's into Minecraft, and he does the most incredible things, and he says it's because he's watched YouTube videos, and then he learned how to do a Rubik's cube, any Rubik's cube, while watching a YouTube video, and so this Christmas, I think I'm just gonna get him a guitar because it just it'll just be incredible. It'll just sit there with go on. What can you do now? Because the funny thing is, Sean, before we started recording, I watched the Arctic Monkeys on the BBC iPlayer at Reading Festival.
And how was the audience?
Yeah,
intense.
What?
Because that's how they step back. There's glamping probably these days, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all pods, mate. They're all in pods.
Should we do one more? It feels like we've got one more in us.
One more. Giles says, I need help, gaming gurus. I know it's petty, but I simply don't understand my partner and the way he grabs his GameCube controller. Brackets not a euphemism.
What?
He places it on his lap and proceeds to tap away at the buttons with his right hand and hit the C stick with the nail of his thumb. Yet, when I bought him a chatpad for his 360 controller, he simply laughed at it. Please explain why typing away on a controller is preferred over an actual, admittedly small keyboard. It's driving me mad.
I'm so
typing on the pad.
So, the claw style, right? Wow. I know that's a thing with like fighting game players, because so you got access to like all 4 face buttons without having to move a thumb around. But a GameCube controller, who's playing fighting games on a GameCube? He's not at
Evo doing this. This is the difference.
Oh, so yeah.
So he puts the controller in his lap, and he taps away at the buttons with his right hand.
Claw style.
And hits right.
Yeah.
But then what? How are you doing the control? What are you holding the analog stick like between you?
Yeah, like a mini joystick,
like a little tiny little arcade.
And so he uses the C stick. He uses the nail of his thumb, so he's literally just catching. Because it's got those little ridges on it, right?
Yeah.
So literally just the very tip of his.
What are you doing? I'm pretending I'm a giant in an arcade. Giles, that's what you got to say. Yeah. What are you doing? Are you pretending to be a giant in an arcade? And you doing that?
I want to see it. Or maybe I don't want to see a video of that. I don't know. It might be quite.
I wonder what games he's playing. I wonder if there's anything. I can't think of anything on the GameCube that would even warrant that. Right?
Do you know what I still talking about? Like controller etiquette. Do you know what I still struggle with? Not using my middle fingers when I play video games.
Yeah.
I still use my index fingers to do the triggers and the buttons.
Yeah, which makes way more sense. Yeah, for index finger on the bumper and then middle finger on the trigger. But
why can't I do that? I'm trying to force myself to use my middle finger.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that.
You don't think anyone does
that? But no, man.
That's what I don't get about
the paddle. You don't have enough dexterity in your middle finger.
No. Well, maybe you just need to develop it.
No. It's like when Harrison Ford did the Uncharted adverts in Japan, and there's a bit where he's holding the DualShock controller in the most unnatural looking way, and I'm pretty sure he actually had his middle finger on the triggers as well.
Oh wow!
I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
I think he's a pro. He's a pro gamer.
Nah,
knows what he's doing.
Uncharted advert. Right, I'm looking this up. Uncharted advert. I'm gonna watch that. I am gonna watch that the moment this finishes because
most unnatural. Yeah,
I can. Oh my. I know it looks alright on that one, but I'll check that out. I'll check that out for sure.
Yeah, Giles, I think basically just end the relationship. I think is the answer.
It's the only way around it, isn't it?
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how you can move forward with this.
Walk up one day with some scissors and just cut the cable of the GameCube controller. Just say you don't deserve this and walk out.
What if there's a wave bird?
Well, if there's a wave bird, then change the channel.
The right trigger as well.
Change that little channel on the top of the receiver. That's what you gotta do. What are you saying, Sean?
It's nothing. I realised it wasn't that important. I wasn't going to repeat it. I was just going to say, how's he doing the right bumper and trigger? It's just it's a flawed system. It is a flawed system, Giles. You need to tell him.
Knees. If he's got it on his lap, must be using the inside of his knees.
Push the entire controller down against your legs.
Have you ever met the people that drive by steering with their knees? I've never got that. I've never been able to do that.
Do people actually do that? Sounds insane.
Just sitting there like that and just like moving the steering wheel.
Are you sure you're not thinking about that episode of Mr. Bean? I'm getting changed in the car.
An episode of Mr. Bean. Yeah.
You mean that wasn't a documentary? Joking.
Right, are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
Matt, socials, please.
Yeah, so Sea of Friends, Sean, on Thursday?
Yes, not on Thursday, though. I'm going to do it on Wednesday this week for boring reasons. Isaac's getting up in the evenings a bit and news out that night. So, I just figured I'd better just move it. So, it'll be Wednesday.
So this Wednesday, twitch.tv/TCGSco, Sean will be streaming Sea of Friends. That is Wednesday 9. Friday at 9, I've been reliably informed by James Farley that he will be returning to Elden Ring. That's this Friday. Twitch.tv/TCGSco. You can watch them live there. If you miss them live, search for TCGS on YouTube and you'll find the VODs there. If you've got Amazon Prime, you've got Twitch Prime Gaming, connect your accounts. You get 1 free sub a month. We'd love if you went over to our channel, gave us your free sub. We're on Patreon. The bonus show is out today. If you're at the 450 tier, you can listen to it. If you're at the 850 tier, you can watch us because we're now doing that on video. Also, this month's Le Tournoi is out. We had some technical issues, but don't worry, we edited the version down so you can watch most of it on video. That's also there for 850 and above patrons. And the website's tcgis.co for everything else, including links to our socials, our pods, our beautiful Discord, and our store.
It is. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us this week. It's been great having you on.
Yeah, man.
Thanks very much for having me. Yeah.
I was hoping you were going to ask him if there's anything you wanted to plug.
Yeah.
Any websites?
IGN.
Yeah. IGN. So IGN Japan, all of our content's in Japanese. But if you're interested in, I don't know, practicing your Japanese, by all means, tune into our podcast. And I'm on Twitter as No More Daniels.
No more. What's the story behind that? You just think
No More Heroes.
Well, it's a No More Hero. It's a No More Heroes reference.
Hero.
And also because growing up as a kid, I knew so many Daniels. And somebody at school or whatever would go, Daniel, and 15 kids would turn their head around and go, yes. So it's kind of a reference to that too. Yeah.
Also this week on IGN Japan, obviously that huge expose on Sean Bell's piracy.
Yeah, look out for that.
Top lips.
And we have a special gallery on Sean Bell's lips as well.
Yeah, and a list of things that I want to paint in PowerWash Sim.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Okay, can't wait. Okay, no. Just gonna.
I have a request as well for you, which is When are you going to do a Star Calls on The Mandalorian and
oh yeah, okay.
Obi-Wan and stuff like that?
Yeah, no, we did. We sort of dropped off after that. I think Rise of Skywalker confused us so much that we never wanted to go near that universe again. But we did see The Mandalorian, and we really enjoyed it. I watched it with Joe, except for one specific episode where it got to the bit where all the eggs opened up, and we went, okay, we're done with this. We are done with this one. We will skip to the next one, please. I mean, the good thing about that show is that there's no through plot really at all, is there? It's nuts. But yeah, we are blasting through the Marvel TV shows at the moment, and boy.
TV shows.
Oh boy,
they're a mixed bag.
Yes, mate.
They are a mixed bag, aren't they?
I've been listening to Marvel calls. Yeah, it's been enjoyable.
Well, cheers. I appreciate that. Appreciate it, and we appreciate you for listening to this show. Thank you so much for living it. We will catch you next week with some more video game chit chat. Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.